This is QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet on My TV Charleston.
Big one in 5A football here in South Carolina for your QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. A West Ashley team led by Donnie Kiefer and his good friend of the Swamp Foxes in Ashley Ridge, Shane Fiddler, coming across town to face the Wildcats. We welcome you down to the field. Darren Goldwater, the voice of the College of Charleston, with me here. Everett German. Look, this is going to come down to the simplicities of football. Who's tougher? Who's going to win this thing in the trenches?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Offensive line, defensive line. You got to win the line of scrimmage. It's going to be interesting to see who can take command of the line tonight.
Last year, West Ashley's back. We're going to get to him. Went for almost 300 yards against Ashley Ridge. Shane Fiddler told me they simply out-toughed us. It starts with our defense, and Christian Garland leads that defense.
Yeah, Darren, normally when you think of triangle in sports, you think about Phil Jackson in basketball. However, it's the Ashley Ridge nose guard, the two linebackers, 74 tackles on the season. He's the leader of this defense. If they're going to have a chance tonight, he's going to have a big game.
The running back I told you we'd get to, we're getting to him. Jaleel Porter has 10 touchdowns on the year. He's averaging like 7 yards a carry right now. They got to find a way to slow him down.
I think I'm going to start calling him the mailman because he totes the ball and he gets it done on the ground for the Wildcats. As you mentioned, Aaron, last year, almost 300 yards in one game. You have to think he's licking his chops to get a chance at Ashley Ridge once again.
Who's going to be the tougher team? Who will survive the field conditions? It's a mess out here. We'll find out as the game rolls along. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. We are ready to get this thing underway. Ashley Ridge comes in at 2-3. They are 0-1 in Region 8-5A. The West Ashley Wildcats can say the exact same thing. They are 2-3, also 0-1 in the region. And the Swamp Foxes will return. They've got one of their dynamic playmakers, DJ Drayton, deep to return. And I guess you could call the other one back there one of their playmakers as well. He's their quarterback. Xavier Proctor Floyd. Glad you're with us for QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, as Connor Jones gets set to start things off for us here from West Ashley. Little bit of a squibber that will put Ashley Ridge at about their 28-yard line to begin this game. Shane Fiddler didn't mince words, Everett, when he was talking to me earlier today. It's about toughness for him. Who will be the more physical team? He said they were out-toughed in last year's game. So with that in mind, what are your keys to the game?
Yeah, there you go. Physicality. You have to match the intensity of West Ashley. You know they're going to be hyped. It's a homecoming game for them. You got to be physical, own the line of scrimmage. And more importantly, when you're on offense, kind of have extended drives to keep that defense, that high-powered offense of West Ashley off the field.
Those brought to you by Cruz Chevrolet. You got a friend in the car business as Gaston tries to find room around the edge, but there is none there. Big 44, Sakara Smalls was around the play. You're going to hear a lot from him. He's one of a number of guys that'll play both ways for this West Ashley team. A little bit short on numbers. It's one of the big stress marks for Donnie Kiefer, trying to get numbers up for this 5A program.
Yeah, four-man front, as you can see, Darren. Great penetration on that opening play. Hopefully that's not an indication of what it's going to be like for the Swamp Fox offense all night.
The junior Xavier Proctor Floyd through the air, slips through the fingers of DJ Drayton. Right there with him, Mark Legree. It's third down.
Yeah, great coverage. A very catchable pass. A little high, but nice pocket. The offensive line did a better job that time, allowing him to be comfortable. Tried to step into it just a little bit high. So now a huge third down coming up on the opening drive for the Swamp Foxes.
While they come in with the same record, Ashley Ridge has lost its last 3 games. The last one at Fort Dorchester, they played very well. West Ashley has won its last 2 games. Proctor Floyd incomplete. 3 and out for the Ashley Ridge Swamp Foxes.
And talking about Ashley Ridge last week against Fort Dorchester, as we all know, Fort Dorchester, they are the top team in the Low Country. And that game, according to Coach Fielder, it was 15-0, Darren, in the fourth quarter, and then his team just kind of ran out. So hopefully, for their sake, they can kind of build off of that and try to play a complete game here tonight.
Will McCune handles all the kicking duties. McCune is one of the top 10 guys on this team in the weight room. He is their kicker. And we've got plenty more on McCune and the stories around him. That one bounces off the chest, falls loose, and recovered by the Swamp Foxes. Ben Berry there to recover it. Check it, it's Omar Harris, 23.
Yeah, didn't take his eye. Looked like he took his eyes off of the ball. He saw the defender coming in. He took that quick glance at the last second. That's what caused the fumble. So a break for Ashley Ridge. Will they be able to capitalize on the turnover?
Booming kick that'll put him at the 41-yard line now. Only a minute gone by here in this opening quarter. 1st and 10. And about a 4-yard run there for Gaston. Gaston comes in with just 215 yards, about 3 yards a carry. They've been trying to open things up through the passing game to get that running game on track.
Yeah, kind of back some of those backers in that secondary up. When you can't throw the football, that allows teams to put 11 guys in the box. So, yeah, it's very huge for this Ashley Ridge offense to be able to at least attempt passes there. And obviously you want to complete them, but at least give that threat that you have to be on your toes because the Swamp Foxes could hit you with a big play.
5'8", 180-pounder in Gaston. There's some thought here on 2nd down and 6 as he gets it again. Kevin Brown in pursuit. And number 9, Brown, is the one who drags him down. 13th tackle on the year for the sophomore. There's some thought one of the reasons the running game took a while to get on track is because he was the known commodity for Ashley Ridge. Teams are loading up to stop him.
And that's why that passing game is so important because you can't allow the defenses to key on him. But that was great pursuit by K.J. Brown, the sophomore, somebody that the coaching staff can definitely build this program around when you have sophomores that can make plays like that.
3rd down and 6. Proctor Floyd with a man in his face. It was Braden Vick. That busts up the play as flags come in as well. And Sakara Smalls shows the frustration.
Did he get maybe a face mask? A little disgust. Once again, nice job getting in the backfield as we wait for the call.
Third down on the 5-yard penalty. It'll be 3rd down and 1. We got the inadvertent face mask. First time we see Kyle Buskowski. Maybe a local celebrity himself. No official wants to be that. But Scott Eisberg featured him in a piece about the high school league needing officials, not only for football, but basketball. And they're going to need to reset the play clock here. It has reached 0. Buskowski is trying to.
I've always wondered how the raise the roof signal equates to reset the play clock.
Proctor Floyd hit as he throws this one, intended for Drayton, busted up by Legree, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Legree's been all over the field so far here for this Wildcat defense. Nice job of moving the pocket, rolling out to his right side. Just could not complete the pass over to DJ Drayton, so unfortunately it'll be 4th down. And I guess, Darren, in this territory, you almost have to go for it. But then again, most high school punters don't have booming legs. I guess you could pin it and make them, drive the length of the field.
West Ashley hasn't touched it except for fumbling the punt after a 3-and-out from Ashley Ridge. This is their second possession. Still yet to have a first down. About 9:30 remaining in the quarter. A pump and a fire and a flag. Again, DJ Drayton the intended target. This time it's Porter in coverage.
And it's thrown by that back judge. You almost wonder if it's holding in the secondary. And that's a defense, Darren. The one thing you don't want to do is allow drives to continue because of penalty. You do a great job of getting it to 3rd down and 4th down. And when you penalize yourself by coming up with these penalties.
It'll be a first down brought to you by Miller Mott College, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. West Ashley's hurt himself twice. There was a sack on 3rd down that would have been 4th in a while. And then the penalty on 4th down. That looked like Quentin Burke, did it not? No, it was still 2, Cordell Gaston. It is much darker out here than it looks on your screen. Significantly darker.
And obviously it doesn't help with the black jerseys of West Ashley, but KJ Brown there again on the stop for the Wildcats. Yeah, if you're the West Ashley offense, you just want to get going. You want to get on the field. They've been on the sideline for the entire quarter.
2nd down and 9 now. About 8:40 left in the opening quarter. Deep drop here for Proctor Floyd. And he finds it to Drayton, who's caught from behind and rolled over by Caleb Edwards, the main linebacker, the mainstay on this defense. And I think he got enough for the first down.
Always a great way to slow down the pass rush, throw the screen, make those defenders be disciplined, and a nice job completing the pass right over that defensive line. And that will make them think twice before rushing up the field.
Second Miller Mott College first down on this drive. They are just outside the 10. 8.5 to go. Drayton lost it and recovers it down there. Went right into the belly of one of the Wildcats on the ground, Dravion Blake, but he couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, that play looked like it was going to be a bad play from the beginning. Looks like he never really got the ball cleanly, as you can see. Yeah, never got his hands on it. And a fortunate break for the Swamp Foxes. He's able to recover his penalty. His fumble. You have to think, Darren, you've had the ball the entire quarter. You have to come away with points on this drive.
Just over 4 minutes gone by in the opening quarter. It's 2nd down and 13. They can get a first down at the 1. Proctor Floyd well protected and darts one into the end zone, but a flag around where DJ Drayton caught it, so we'll have to check this.
Again, came from that back judge, so I'm thinking it's going to be against West Ashley. Oh, maybe that's how he got so wide open. That's how he got so wide open.
That was my hunch.
Did he run like a wheelwright? No, he was obviously lined up as a wide receiver. And I don't know, Darren, did you see the pass interference? Now, obviously it wasn't on him. Could have been the slot guy.
Tough to tell from that replay, but it backs him all the way up to the 29. We know you don't have
the time and the down and distance on your screen. We'll keep you up to date best we can. Shane Fiddler wants an explanation, the Ashley Ridge coach.
Speaking with him before the game, he mentioned that last week there were so many drive killers, whether it be penalties or, turnovers. I think he said 3 tip balls that were intercepted by Fort Dorchester. And you have to think, again, you've done such a great job working so hard to get down here, and you're negating big plays with penalties. So those are the things you have to clean up. And sometimes, Darren, that's the difference between winning and losing. It's the little things that you can do that you can control.
Shane Fiddler takes that timeout. To that point, he said he feels like the offense is a big play away. Like one breakthrough play can get this offense jump-started for the rest of the year. To jump-start a broadcast any day, Trooper Bob with the car, he's got like a globe on top of his car that spins around. He's on the field now with Andy Pruitt.
Hey guys, I'm Andy Pruitt, Director of Communications for Charleston County School District. We're here at West Ashley, the Wildcats. They also have a school district teacher of the year here. How exciting is that?
Yeah, that was a big moment. About a month ago, we surprised A.J. Barnes, who's a coach and history teacher here. He's now our district teacher of the year, and one of his responsibilities is to lead the teacher of the year roundtable and make sure that we have that constant line of communication between him, other top teachers of the year, and the entire teacher roundtable. So it's a big honor and a big responsibility for A.J. Barnes.
You also have another initiative down here, the Scholar Academy.
Yeah, the Scholars Academy is a really neat thing that just started this school year. That's a group of 30 students where if you're from District 10, which is West Ashley, or downtown, you can participate in this partnership with College of Charleston to take part in really strong, hard courses, and that by the time you graduate, you can walk away with 2 years of college credit. So really excited about this opportunity, really excited to see how it plays out.
And finally, everyone here watching on TV here at the game, how can they get in touch and follow more of this news that you're putting out there?
Yeah, so there's a lot of places to go. We obviously encourage people to go on our website, ccsdschools.com. Make sure you download the CCSD mobile app, easy to access on your Apple or Google Play stores. Also, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Our board meetings are on there. Easy way to keep up what's going on with our board. And then obviously you have us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So a lot of different places that you can access information. And heck, just call us at downtown Charleston, down at Calhoun Street. We'll answer your questions there too.
That's right. Call Andy. Andy, thank you very much. Andy Pruitt, Director of Communications for Charleston County Schools. Nice night for a football game. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, now we'll get an idea of the leg of Will McCune. He's going to try one from 46. And he's just short.
Tough break for the Swamp Foxes. I mean, you did everything right. You actually scored a touchdown, but unfortunately you don't have anything to show for it. And if you're West Ashley, you dodged a major bullet.
Went all the way down to about the 11-yard line. Then an offensive pass interference in the end zone, backed him up to the 29, and 3 plays and a missed field goal later, West Ashley has its first possession of the game with 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the opening quarter.
We'll get our first opportunity to see the exciting Jaleel Porter. Man, averaging 161 yards a game. As you mentioned, Darren, 10 touchdowns, already over 800 yards rushing on the year. This guy's a beast, and I can't wait to see him in action tonight.
Interested to see the linebackers match up with him. They don't get a hand on him this time. He gets to the secondary where Kuhlman's got to take him down. And if he's getting 8 and 9 yards a clip, it'll be a long night for the Swamp Foxes.
Darren, you mentioned how the field conditions, that's going to be key, especially when you're trying to corral a shifty runner like Porter. The field's going to be wet, the turf slip and slide. You have to be very fundamentally sound tonight, or you could be kind of juked out of your cleats, as we say, trying to tackle the elusive Porter.
Nice shot by our crew. Beware of the dog is what it says on that pad. And the dog is grabbed from behind, and he is down by Christian Garland. He runs a 4.5. He's in on almost every play. That's tackle 75 at the start of the 6th game.
Yeah, we highlighted him in the pregame. That guy, he's a beast at a linebacker. Nice job being able to run sideline to sideline, able to step up in the hole and make the tackle. That's what you want from your linebacker.
It's a very strong Ashley Ridge defense. It is the strength of their team. That was enough for the first down, a pickup of 3. And for the 3rd straight play, it's Porter. Garland chasing the play, finishes it off. JaVale Gordon had him around the ankles. Garland finishes him up high behind the line of scrimmage.
5 white jerseys around Porter. You're going to have hat on hat and as many guys pursuing the football sideline to sideline to stop this guy. That's a great job by the Ashley Ridge defense, not letting him turn the corner.
Jaleel Porter, Shane Fiddler, Ashley Ridge coach, said, I think he's the best running back in the state. Donnie Kiefer said, I don't know if he's the best, but he's got to be a top 10 guy. And he said the best thing you can say about a running back, he said 2 types of running backs. One who always looks to score, and some who look to go down. He said Porter never wants to go down. This ball's in the air and off the fingertips of JaVale Gordon. It'll bring up 3rd down.
He was trying to get it to Jarrell Rivers on the out, and a nice shot by Gordon just shooting the gap. Almost looked like he was running the route on that particular pass. That's a long throw when you have to throw across the hash marks, but fortunately for him, not incomplete or not intercepted. Now he'll have an opportunity to come up with a big 3rd down play.
5.5 minutes to go, first quarter, first possession for the Wildcats. Ashley Ridge went 3 and out. West Ashley fumbled the punt. Ashley Ridge got down to the 11 before backing up after a offensive pass interference took away a touchdown. Pressure comes in on Johnson as they set up the screen to 2 offensive linemen. Steen and Beckstein weren't most likely the intended recipients of that.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Darren, he was trying to get it to his fullback, number 34, but, yeah, he badly overshot his intended receiver, and it looked like, he was throwing it to the big guys. The big guys wanted to get down the field and open up some holes for the wide receiver.
We're going to call number 4's name a lot for Ashley Ridge, DJ Drayton. He's been in the backfield. They've had him as the intended target a couple times out wide. He's back to return this one here from Wamsley. And if there's a better name for a football player, even a punter, than Wamsley, I haven't heard one in a while. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left first quarter. We step aside on QFS Transportation. Friday night rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Ladies and gentlemen, television timeout.
Here we go for the Swamp Foxes. 5:20 to go in the first quarter. They take over at the 40 after that punt from West Ashley. And Proctor Floyd gets it out of his hands quickly to Drayton on the edge, and he is wrapped by KJ Brown. About a handful, maybe 6 yards.
Yeah, KJ had a little bit of help on that particular play. Also on the stop was Caleb Edwards. Yeah, I think we've already said KJ Brown's name about 5 times tonight. He's a guy that just, we talked about it. He runs sideline to sideline. If you want to know where KJ Brown is, just go to where the football is.
Proctor Floyd on the move in front of DJ Drayton. You can say the same about Drayton. If you want to know where the football is, just look for DJ Drayton. 3rd down and 3.
Mark Laguerre, I should say again, on the coverage for the Wildcats. You have to like what Ashley Ridge is doing. They know that the front four of West Ashley pretty strong, so they're trying to move the pocket, roll right, roll left. Just give yourself an opportunity, and I wouldn't be surprised if later on we see him maybe just kind of take off on some of those runs to maybe draw those guys up and then kind of dink it over the top. Just anything to kind of loosen up that back seven of West Ashley.
Maybe this will loosen them up a little bit. Drayton takes the snap as Proctor Floyd goes out wide and sprints up the middle for a 1st down, stopped by Porter. One of the guys going both ways. A Miller Mock College 1st down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. And there is an injured Swamp Fox with 4.5 to go in the quarter.
That's the one thing, Darren. I guess it's been a while since, so many guys just playing both ways these days. Back in the good old days when you kind of, these 4A and 5A schools, although 5A wasn't really around, back in the 90s. But I'm just surprised. But kudos to these guys to be able to at this level play both ways, offense, defense, and not just play, but be a key component of those units and doing a great job of leading their teams.
Brendan Young, one of 4 seniors that starts on the Ashley Ridge offensive line, is the one being attended to right around midfield. Darren Goldwater, Everett German on QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. A well-attended game. It's homecoming here at West Ashley, just like it was last week when we were at Goose Creek.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to know when homecoming is for a school, just check the schedule and see when Friday Night Rivals, if it's airing a game, it's probably going to be homecoming. Somewhat of a nice, cool football night. We thought we'd get some rain, and knock on wood, so far we've not had to deal with that.
Earlier in the day, we had some. The field can't take a whole lot more rain.
Yeah, you have to think. Most of the newer stadiums kind of have that crown in the middle that allows that water to drain, and I don't think West Ashley per se has that. So you're right, Darren. Any more rain, and let's just say the landscaping and the field crew for Charleston County School District, they're going to be doing some resodding next week.
Well, Donnie Kiefer told me today, he said it was hard to practice this week. It was hard to figure everything out just from a planning standpoint. 1st and 10, they go back to the Wildcat look with Drayton, and Gaston lays a punishing block. It doesn't net much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
But if anything, it sends a message like, hey, we are here and we are ready to play tonight. Caleb Edwards again on the stop. And here you see a look right there, and that's what I'm talking. That was a decleater. Got off under his pads, put him on the ground. Great block by Cordell Gaston. It's amazing, Darren, when you have people that actually block for you, you have a better chance of actually getting positive yards.
Proctor Floyd out of the hands of Chris Simmons. That's at least the 2nd drop that we've seen here in the 1st quarter for Ashley Ridge. It'll be 2nd down.
And the plays are there. I mean, these are great passes, catchable passes. I don't know if the ball's wet, their gloves are wet, or what's going on, but the Swamp Foxes, they've got to secure those plays because you may not have many opportunities throughout the night to come up with those plays. So when you get that chance, you got to secure that and come up with the catch.
3rd down and 10. Proctor Floyd to Simmons. Now he wants to put it in the air, and it is incomplete. Wanted Xavier Ori.
Laguerre again on the coverage, and you can see it was going to be a double pass, but it just looked like this play took too long to develop. That's one of the ones he put too much air under it. Now, granted, the secondary of West Ashley, they weren't fooled by it, but that's one you kind of have to make quick, direct. You don't want to put air under that one. Get it to your guy and get as many yards as you possibly can.
Here's McCune. Big leg for McCune. This one takes an unfriendly roll if you're a punter. And we'll put West Ashley at the 20 for its 2nd possession here of the 1st quarter with 4 minutes to go.
A little surprised, Darren, of the somewhat defensive struggle we've seen thus far. Coach Felder did say his offensive unit for Ashley Ridge. Somewhat struggling. They're trying to get it going. West Ashley, they've been rolling, of course, coming off a week where they scored 69 points in a win against Stahl last week. So let's see who'll strike first here on homecoming night at West Ashley.
That game against Stahl saw some eye-popping offensive numbers. Gabe Johnson, the quarterback, his best game. It was a good game for Porter as well, and he nearly breaks free. He sprints for 16 yards. The free safety, Will Wright, probably saves a touchdown with that stop at the 37.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Wright, and that's what we expected to see from this West Ashley offense tonight. Nothing fancy here, just a straight give up the middle. Did a great job of falling behind his offensive line, getting into that secondary, and had it not been for Wright, there would be 6 on the board for West Ashley.
It's a good sign for the Wildcats offense if they can come right up the middle through the strength of Ashley Ridge's defense. Now Porter tries to get to the outside, and he is upended. That was Jarvell Gordon up from his safety spot after a pickup of 4.
Great field vision by Porter. Nothing there in the middle, so a nice job of bouncing it outside and trying to test the corners. In those situations, Darren, and maybe it's just the field conditions, you got to make like a move to make that guy miss. You can't let the first guy take you down. A little juke to the left, come to the right, and be able to extend that play.
Johnson, as he's done most times so far tonight, off to Porter, who has to run through a pile, and Will Wright is waiting on the back end of that pile. He needed 5. He got about 4. It'll be third down for the Wildcats with inside 3 minutes to go in the quarter.
I'll tell you what, Darren, it's not a good sign when your secondary is making all the tackles. So Porter with another, look at that block right there by the bigging of West Ashley, doing a great job on that kick out by Joshua Simmons, 5'10 senior, leading the charge for the Wildcats.
Wildcats got a great spot out at the 48 for a Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. First keep here for Gabe Johnson. And Johnson gets flipped over.
And that's a nice job. You got to figure Ashley Ridge is probably going to key on Porter. Nice job of faking it to him, taking the defense with him, and then taking off. I got to tell you now, 34 right here missed this block. He just ran like he was running for the touchdown. You got to put a hat on somebody to allow your quarterback to get some extra yards.
Johnson was at Goose Creek last year. Didn't play a whole lot. He's coming off his best game last week against Stahl. 10 of 12, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has 13 completions in the other 4 games combined. He had 10 last week.
Whoa.
First time we get to hear from TJ Wilson. I feel like we've been saying his name for 5 years. He's only a junior. You're going to see him playing on Saturdays. He's 5'11", 225.
Look at this hit. Fill in the gap right there. Step up and boom, put your helmet right in his chest. That's how you tackle football. Big hit by TJ Wilson.
Yeah, you like that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Didn't lower his head. Could see the numbers the entire time. And more importantly, Darren, he went to the runner. He didn't let the runner come to him. You got to issue the punishment to the running back.
Timeout for the Wildcats. They're first with 1:20 to go here in the first quarter. Wilson's the third part of that triangle. We've talked about Downing, the nose guard, Garland, the other inside linebacker, and TJ Wilson. That's what makes up that triangle on the inside of the front level of the Ashley Ridge defense that Fiddler considers his best.
Well, as we know, that nose guard, the best nose guards are the ones that can keep the offensive line from getting to that second level and getting on those backers to allow the backers to run freely and make plays as we saw on that last play.
Mentioned it a bit ago. They have same records, but they've arrived at it in different ways. Ashley Ridge has lost 3 straight after 2 wins to open the year. West Ashley has now won its last 2 games, and a lot of it's been Porter. Last week against Stahl, 3 touchdowns on the ground and a receiving touchdown. Against Stratford, he went for 246 and 4. Against Cane Bay, 163 and a score. Once this year, he's been held below 100. Against a very good Buford team, he had 90. That's how you get 800 yards through 5 games.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the stats. You think about it, West Ashley scored 69 last week in the win against Stahl. You see Porter here with another run and a nice job with that swarming defensive push by Ashley Ridge, led by Huger. But Ashley Ridge has scored 54 points, Darren, all season long. Well, West Ashley scored 69 just last week by himself. So that just goes to show you, while offense wins games, defense wins championship, you still got to find a way to just get points on the board.
First down for Donnie Kiefer's offense. Got just enough for their third first down of this drive. As we move towards 1 minute on the nose remaining in the opening quarter. Seventh play of a drive that started at their 20. Here's Porter on the edge, and he sees a lot of white jerseys. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, Darren, we saw a double pass on the last possession for Ashley Ridge. The way West Ashley, how they key on Porter, you think about it, you're going to see maybe a toss here where he's just going to stop and throw it, because as soon as they see the ball go to him, the defense immediately kind of swarms to him. So let's see if West Ashley can maybe slip somebody out there by the secondary, because they're trying to come up and make the stop on Porter.
Running clock, 22 seconds left in the first quarter. They do have to run one more play. The play clock is at 6, and they're still in the huddle.
They're giving this signal. There you go.
There you go. Raise the roof. We've reset the play clock, which means they don't have to run another play in this quarter, but they will. And it'll be Porter with the lead block from Ori. Slips into the third level and has a Miller Mott College. Well, before I say that, it'll be close.
Great job following his block. Ori led him through the hole, put his hand on his back, showed him where to go, and he just explodes through the hole. Like you said, Darren, close to a first down, but a nice tackle made by Ethan Timmons.
No signal yet whether or not it is a first down. There is a signal, though, because there's zeros on the time clock that it's the end of the first quarter. A scoreless first quarter on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Wildcat fans, we will be announcing the 2021 homecoming court at halftime. Stay tuned to see who is crowned as this year's homecoming queen and king.
Wildcats on the move. They did give them the first down as we finished up the first quarter. Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. For the Wildcats, this will be the 9th play of a drive that's accumulated 48 yards and 4 first downs. Just the second time they've touched it, and they begin the second quarter with a penalty.
Not the ideal way to start the second quarter. But you mentioned, Aaron, just like a very slow, methodical drive, maybe a couple of big plays, but all in all, there's kind of 3 yards, and it's kind of like Big Ten football, 3 yards, tackle, 3 yards, tackle, 3rd down and 4, first down.
Let's see if Porter can change that. Wilson's up to fill the hole, get some help from Downing. At best, he's back to the line of scrimmage.
6'4", 280. Look at the senior getting in the backfield, disturbing this play for the Wildcats. And that's the type of stuff that you need there. You got to win that line of scrimmage. Great penetration by that Swamp Fox defense. If you can't let Porter get going, that's the best way to slow him down. Get to him just as he gets the football.
It's funny you said old school Big Ten. A buddy asked me what to expect in this game earlier today. I said, think old school Big Ten. Another try for Porter. He just puts his head down and says, I'm going to run into the back of this wall of guys. And he picks up 3 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
And it's whoever can get. We see a late penalty flag there, a little jawing going on between the two teams. But it's whoever can get their pads the lowest. Who can get under the opponent, and that's who's going to win the line. That's who's going to win the game. Because the strength of this West Ashley team is the run game. And for Ashley Ridge, just being able to keep West Ashley offense on the sideline.
Wow, only going one way.
I'm assuming he probably didn't tell him where we're going for lunch tomorrow. Is why only one side got penalized there.
That's Donnie Kiefer right there with his quarterback next to him. Now Kiefer, this is the type of game he would like. He's a weightlifting guy. I mean, that's where his roots trace back to. He's in the North Carolina Powerlifting Hall of Fame, and he's known as one of the leaders in strength and conditioning training, both in North and South Carolina. That's what initially tied him and Shane Fiddler together about 4 years ago, when they both became coaches in the same state. Did some lifting competitions together with their teams, some 7-on-7s. Another flag.
He kind of comes across as the coach who would lift with his players. Yeah. You know, like if you're a high school kid, I mean, you can't let your coach outlift you, you know? So I'm sure that's motivation for the kids as we see another penalty. And you think about it, Darren, the Wildcats, they've got to reach, the 23-yard line to pick up a first down? Mm-hmm. And now they're at their own, 47-yard line? Just those types of mistakes and penalties, they'll just kill you.
3rd penalty in the last 4 plays. Downing onto the back of, that was Zaquan Smith. You'll feel that when 6'4", 280 plows you into the ground, and it's 4th down.
I mean, look at the big guy run. 75, he just gets on his horses and just, come here, man. Where are you going? That's the type of pursuit you like to see from your nose guard on this football team. Great job by Downing.
We've got about 69 yards of offense combined in this game. Most of it was that drive. That was pushing up on about 60 yards until they went backwards.
And a slow start, obviously, for both teams there. And the key is you have to be patient, stick with the game plan, and try to wear the opponent down.
Drayton made a late decision to come up and catch that ball. And he does so at the 15-yard line. Second quarter, 9:54 left in the first half.
And that's a big play, Darren, because if he doesn't, again, the field's wet, it's kind of torn up. He lets that ball bounce. It may take 2 or 3 bounces, then it's going to stop. So instead of being where they are, up at the 15-yard line, that ball could have potentially been inside the 10, and that's where you don't want to be, especially on a night like this where anything can happen with the wet football.
Ashley Ridge has had the lone scoring opportunity. They missed a 46-yard field goal. Here they fake the give on the inside and pitch it out to Drayton.
Ooh. And
he can't get to the corner. He lost his footing. Looked like Laguerre up to make the stop as he slipped.
Seen a little option by Ashley Ridge. Kind of give that fake to kind of get that defense moving, and then you just try to turn the corner. But great pursuit by the black shirts of West Ashley, and that's the key, Darren. You just can't let those guys turn the corner.
There have been a couple of plays there through the air for Ashley Ridge. A couple times the ball has slipped through the receiver's hands. Gaston goes one way, Drayton goes the other. 2nd down and 14. Proctor Floyd wanted Drayton, no flags.
Great coverage by Ori out in the open space. And Darren, I want you to watch 79, Deshaun Ramsey. Watch him just look at big 79, just literally just pushed. And I just checked there. This has to be a typo. This can't be right. Deshaun Ramsey Jr., 6'3", 395 pounds, the big guy. 79 in the. They need to put a single number on him. He's got to get a single number to really show his size. But man, for the rest of the night, there, I'm gonna watch Ramsey just manhandle that guard and tackle and get into the backfield.
I'm happy to talk about the West Ashley defensive line. So if they can keep playing well and give us opportunities, and they force that to come out of the hands of Proctor Floyd early.
A lot of handkerchiefs on the field. I mean, legal man downfield. Yeah. I mean, Darren, when you're 6'3", 395, you got to get your own camera. You got to get an ISO on that guy right there. Wherever he goes, the camera's and just he can move. Like, look at him. The big guy came to play tonight. As you see there on this replay. Just watch this man. Just get out of the way. Just. Oh, that's my guy, 79. Every week, Darren, I find a defensive lineman, and now I found it's a great work by Deshaun Ramsey.
And that's his coach in the bucket hat, the defensive line coach, Chris Mazik. There are a lot of Penn State connections down here. You may know the name. He played on the defensive line at Penn State in the 90s. One of a couple of Penn State connections to this game. I would be another one of them.
To say, outside of you and him.
And Shane Fiddler, Ashley Ridge head coach, is a lifelong Penn State fan.
Gotcha.
So there you see him, Mazik. Interesting story as well. He's out of Columbia, down here in South Carolina, which Joe Paterno recruited the area very well and recruited this area in the Low Country very well. After his redshirt freshman season, Mazik, he comes home. He was shot in the leg multiple times. Took him a couple of years to rehab, and then in 93 he came back and finished out his career playing Big Ten football on the defensive line after taking gunshots to his leg.
Wow. Tough we know he is.
From the 45, the Wildcats offense will start, and it's Porter who hustles his way out of bounds, shoving off Hugie.
Just a simple swing pass out the backfield. You want to get this guy in space. When you can kind of, the penetration up the middle has been pretty good by the Swamp Fox front four. So, again, just get it to him out on the edge. Nice swing pass, easy throw, easy completion, and almost 8 yards on that play. The one thing, Darren, I've been very impressed with on both teams, offensive lines and defensive lines for both teams, is just how well these kids move. To be as big as they are, they're doing a great job of getting out and leading the charge for their running backs.
Porter moves pretty well, too. I mean, he's 185. He plays bigger. That time he's low, almost army crawling along the ground for the A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
Well, so far, disaster has not struck for this Ashley Ridge defense. They're doing a great job of kind of bottling Porter up, but you kind of feel, Darren, like he's starting to get going. So if you're Ashley Ridge, you got to get him off the field as soon as you can, or at least on the other side of the ball, on the defensive side, not back there catching passes and having runs on the edge. Another one from Porter. He does collect it after the initial bobble. TJ Wilson leads a horde of tacklers, and there's a flag down at the 30. So Lon Jackson also on the stop. And a lot of yellow on the field once again. And a good job by Porter keeping his eyes on that football. You saw Darren, he's kind of bobbling. Usually at this level, guys have a tendency to take their eyes off the ball and kind of look up to see if anybody's coming to get them. But a good job by him, able to secure the football and then try to make a play afterwards.
Kyle Buskowski running through the signs. One declined.
You see right here that bobble. Able to get it in, and yeah, the hold on the edge. And that's kind of been the story of the night for both teams. Just a lot of penalties. You have to think, Darren, here in the Low Country, obviously it rains. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Really bad. You have to think of timing and executions off a little bit because you're not sure how much these teams were able to practice this week, at least be able to get outside because of the almost hurricane monsoon conditions we had on, I think that was that Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it was both. Second down at about 20 here. Porter stretching it to the right side and makes up a lot of what was lost on that penalty. Picks up about 15 down to the 25 with 7.5 minutes to go in the half.
Yeah, Alex Ledford on the stop for the Swamp Foxes. And give credit to Porter. He kept his legs moving, didn't stop, and was actually able to get additional yards after the that initial contact. So you see here, he's still going, driving those legs, and picking up additional yards. Almost a touchdown run by the Wildcats. But again, Ledford there to bring him down.
Donnie Kiefer said, best thing about Porter is his vision. He sees the hole, hits it. Here he is. He hits his offensive lineman, and then he hits Christian Garland, the linebacker, number 12. He's going to get a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
It's almost as Ashley Ridge has that bend but don't break mentality on defense. When they need to really kind of buckle down and kind of come up with a big play on the defensive side, they've been able to do that. As you see, almost a holding right there that West Ashley able to get away with. But again, for that defense of Ashley Ridge, you got a big opportunity here. 3rd down and short. Can the Swamp Foxes get this Wildcat offense off the field? But in this territory, you have to think you got 2 plays to pick up, might as well say 4 yards.
3rd down and 3 officially from the 22 with 6 minutes to go in the first half.
My.
And a delay of game.
Penalty charge to the Wildcats.
If you're Kiefer, you have to be thinking, what do we need to do? It just seems like when we take 2 steps forward, we're taking 3 steps back and making it more difficult for this offense. If it's me, Darren, in this situation, I'd look for a swing pass to Porter, again, to the short side of the field.
Or a shot at the end zone, but that wasn't there, so they'll dump one off, and it's dropped by Smalls.
He could have walked, crawled, skipped into the end zone because there was nobody in front of Smalls. And sometimes those are the toughest passes to catch because you're so wide open. Great job by Gabe Johnson. Found his intended receiver, and he'll have nightmares about that tonight when he goes to sleep.
He's coming off his best game, like a lot of the Wildcats are. 5 grabs, 92 yards last week. You talk about the penalties. They've had 2 of them on this drive, 3 of them that killed their last drive. They had pushed all the way to the Ashley Ridge 32. It's 4th down here. Johnson to the end zone. Smalls take 2, and he got it. A much tougher grab, but Sakaris Smalls makes this one on his shoulder pad for a Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
That's showing confidence in your players. Go right back to him after a big drop. Nice pass from Gabe Johnson. And again, Darren, he was too wide open. Looked like he was going to fumble that one as well. But a good job able to reel it in. Our first points of the night. Touchdown catch by a big play by Smalls.
Drive started with a short field on the 44-yard line. And they cap it off with the 29-yard touchdown pass, the first reception in the end zone this year for Smalls. 6th passing touchdown for the now holder, Gabe Johnson. And we'll check these flags before we step aside on this extra point.
It's got to be, running into the kicker? Unless the holder held the defender. But a good drive by the Wildcats and able to cap it off with the touchdown pass.
Got the roughing the kicker. It'll be enforced on the kickoff. So West Ashley starting to gain some traction on the ground. They pay it off with a touchdown strike from the senior Johnson to the senior Smalls. And on homecoming, the Wildcats lead it by a touchdown halfway through the second quarter. First score of the game. It's through the air. Gabe Johnson to Sakaris Smalls. You've been with us for the game. That probably stuns you because everything they've done so far successfully has been on the ground with Jaleel Porter. And they'll now kick off from the 45 of the Swamp Foxes because of roughing the kicker on the extra point. Remember, this is a West Ashley team that, yes, they started out 0-3. They had every chance in the world at knocking off Goose Creek to begin the year.
Yep. I'm sorry, Dan. I was about to say, yeah, even at that game, we knew how the summer was with COVID. So you have to think, if they play again, I'm pretty sure it might be a different situation.
Donnie Kiefer said one of the reasons it got away from him, he had guys cramping up towards the end of the game. He said, and the reason is we don't have numbers. He said the roster isn't big enough, so we've got guys playing both ways. And in that type of a game, at the beginning of the year, with the offseason everybody had, naturally, that's what'll happen.
And then we talked about it last week as well, Darren, just the inconsistency and not really being able to kind of get in rhythm because you have games canceled, then you can't practice, then you're in quarantine. So it just makes it very difficult to really kind of get anything going.
They want to set up the screen. Proctor Floyd able to get it to Drayton, but that play was done from the start. Braden Vick, 74, and Everett's man, Deshaun Ramsey, 79. They're both there. It's a loss of 5.
I might not be the smartest person in the world, but where I'm not going to run is near Deshaun Ramsey. They threw the screen right to him. Big guy right there with the rest of his teammates. As you can see, 6 black jerseys on the stop for the Wildcats. That's roll call at the football. And West Ashley right now starting to feel good about themselves, and the energy is now transferring over to the defense.
Give 34 Pierce O'Ree a lot of credit there. He's the one who went flying in at Proctor Floyd. Now a delayed draw for Floyd. Caleb Edwards hits him on the hip. He picked up what was lost. It'll be 3rd down and 10 with 4:47 left in the first half.
And yeah, a little bit of help again from KJ Brown. Those two really doing a nice job from that linebacker position for West Ashley. Just being able to be all over the place. And that's what you kind of need at this level in terms of high school football. Guys that want to run to the football, sprint to the football, and get the offense off the field.
Tamari Sutter has checked into the game for the first time. He's in the backfield here and under pressure, and down goes Proctor Floyd. Sakaris Smalls, who caught a touchdown about a minute ago, picks up a sack now.
Smalls catching touchdowns, getting sacks, selling popcorn, announcing the game at the homecoming court at halftime. This kid is doing it all. He's having a good night. What a good-looking athlete Smalls is. Stands 6'4", plays tight end and defensive end, and just having a big night tonight on Friday Night Rivals. I think TV just brings out the best in these kids, I mean, they just play hard. They want to look good on the camera.
How about this one here from Will McCune? That's a 45-yarder, almost all of it in the air for McCune, who has showed off his leg. The only thing he didn't strike perfectly would be the missed field goal when Ashley Ridge had him at 46 yards.
I think he kicked it maybe about 43. He was just a little short. So if he had a little more height on that one, it would have just barely cleared the crossbar, but he came up short. And now West Ashley back on the offensive attack. You're that Ashley Ridge defense. I know you're kind of tired. You're hanging on, but you got to hang on for the next 3 minutes and 34 seconds. What would be devastating is to allow West Ashley to score before the half. And remember, Darren, the Wildcats get the ball to start the second half.
That's a good point. 2 timeouts to work with from their 45-yard line. A little bit more Jaleel Porter here. A stiff arm won't be enough for Christian Garland. It might be for some other guys, but Garland comes in and finishes the play.
He was a man-child. 6'3", 220, a junior. Like you said, Darren, he'll be playing on Saturday some way. Just the way he's able to run and just pursue, not give up on the play. You're not getting around Garland.
Gordon was struggling with that hand fighting a Porter. Garland just comes in, moves his own guy out of the way. I got it.
Good job of getting there first. I'll take it from here.
2:57, clock rolling, first half.
And they're making Porter work for everything he gets tonight. That's one thing that I'm sure the coaching staff of Ashley Ridge are very pleased with their defensive effort thus far.
Now they try some misdirection with Johnson. T.J. Wilson's in the middle. Nick Downing's in the middle. And it's Johnson who comes up, jawing.
A little chippy here, a little rivalry. What do you think about it? Ashley Ridge just right down 61, which at some point, Darren, I'll have to tell you my initial trip to Ashley Ridge story. It's just, I still laugh to this day on my journey to Ashley Ridge. Maybe we'll do it at halftime since it's homecoming. We'll have an extended time. So, yeah, I'll tell you about that.
3rd down and 10. Porter tripped. Got him at the ankles, and guess who got him? Christian Garland. That saved the first down. And a decision coming on 4th down and 2.
A big one, Darren. Clock is running. 1 minute and 45 seconds left. About 4th and 2. If you don't get it, you give Ashley Ridge pretty good field position. But, yeah, I agree, Darren. In this situation, you got to go for it. When you got a guy like Porter, obviously you've shown that you can throw the football as well, like either naked bootleg or just something here to kind of throw the defense off. Or a bunch formation.
Or they're coming right at you or trying to make you jump. Here they go, and West Ashley might have jumped.
Flag on the play.
Wanted to go with the quarterback sneak. I'm assuming everybody was set. Nope.
They were set. Then they moved.
So that'll make the decision easy for Coach Keefer. He'll simply punt it away and make his defense keep Ashley Ridge out of the end zone over the next 1:18.
They're killing themselves. 2 drives ago, they got to the 32 and then backed up all the way into their own territory. Last drive, penalties almost derailed the drive. And then a heck of a catch, pinning the ball on his shoulder pad. For Sakara Smalls in the end zone. Gets him on the board, and now here on 4th down, they move. 1:15 left in the first half.
Wow, nice punt.
Will it stop? West Ashley will make it stop at the 2.
Man, 2 outstanding punters tonight, Ashley Ridge and West Ashley, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of when you don't catch the ball on that fair catch, that's what could happen. The ball can roll, and now they're inside the 5-yard line. And Darren, you mentioned 2 timeouts left for West Ashley, 1:08 on the clock. So they could force, if they can get a punt opportunity, maybe come up with a punt block or something to try to score here right before the half.
The way the defensive line for the Wildcats played last possession, this is a dangerous one for Ashley Ridge.
Yes. You can't have any mistakes here. If you're going out the shotgun, you need to make sure it's clean, and as best as you can, you got to block inside and make West Ashley come from the outside perimeter. Don't let them come straight through the middle.
And the ball's on the ground. A worst-case scenario, and it's a touchdown for the Wildcats. Caleb Edwards.
Just talked about it, Darren. That's why you don't want that ball inside the 5-yard line. Wet ball, anything can happen. And Caleb Edwards in the right place at the right time, made the hit. Did he come up with it as well?
Yes.
So that was all Caleb Edwards.
A Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college for Caleb Edwards.
And those are the types of plays that can just mentally just drain you if you're Ashley Ridge. You know, you were in the game, 7-0. All you needed to do was run out 1 minute, go to the locker room, kind of regroup, and now all of a sudden one unfortunate mistake for them, and it's 14-0. And if you're West Ashley, you couldn't have drawn it up any better.
It's nice to have the luxury of a timeout before an extra point attempt with exactly 60 seconds to go in the half. That's the luxury the Wildcats had. So even though they've made mistakes from a penalty standpoint that have set their offense back, they've been able to offset them with the big play. You had the 29-yard pass to Smalls for the touchdown. You had the defensive line moving Ashley Ridge on the last 2 possessions, this one resulting in a fumble and a touchdown. It just goes to show you, if you have a former Penn State defensive lineman as your defensive line coach, you're probably going to have a pretty good defensive line. Well, QFS Transportation is proud to present each participating homeschool a check for $500. This grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 11 seasons, Friday Night Rivals and our sponsors have donated over $120,000 to Low Country students and schools. Congratulations from MyTV Charleston, ABC News 4, and QFS Transportation.
Attempting the point after touchdown for the Wildcats, number 26, Jacob Adams, off the hold of number 1 game, Johnson.
And now if you're obviously Coach Fiddler, your main thing is you just got at halftime. You got to tell your guys, hey, we're still in this. We got to get a 3 and out on this opening drive of the second half and just not give up on this game.
I go back to the conversation we had today and him saying, I think we're one big play away from breakthrough. One guy, maybe it's Drayton, maybe it's Proctor Floyd, maybe it's Gaston, but that one play can ignite us because, as we've seen in this game, a couple of drops here and there on some plays that were there for this offense set them back. They were able to drive it with some success twice, right?
Remember, they scored a touchdown.
And had it called back.
And
then eventually missed a field goal.
So just too many errors. And in a game like this, a close game, two evenly matched teams, vying for really a big opportunity because you have to think Fort Dorchester and Somerville probably going to be 1 and 2 in region, and so you want to be that third as you start to think about playoff seedings and obviously not either hosting a home game or having to go on the road. So this is a huge game tonight for both of these teams. Whoever wins is definitely going to have an advantage.
I like the mindset that Donnie Kiefer has brought to West Ashley. In some of his previous interviews at Old Stops, there was one that caught my eye. I prefer to go to places where people think it can't be done or that it's never been done. Here's a program in a great area of the state that could be successful. I'd like to go in and see if I can get it done. That doesn't define West Ashley. I don't know what else would.
All about the challenge. A lot of great athletes over here in West Ashley. It's just getting them to come out and play football.
57 seconds left in the first half.
Had some great athletes come through this West Ashley program. Football, basketball. I was looking at one last night when I was watching the Seattle Rams game. Of course, Brandon Shell, who started here at West Ashley and then transferred to Goose Creek and then went to South Carolina and then played in the NFL. And obviously Bobby Marion, first coach here at West Ashley, now an assistant coach over there for Ashley Ridge. Had some good talent over here, and as we like to say, since I'm now a West Ashley resident, in the 414 and the 407. That would be the last 3 numbers of our zip code, not our area code.
Sakar Smalls looked like he was being held as that ball wobbles its way incomplete to Ori. 52 seconds left in the half.
And that's a dangerous pass, Darren. If somebody can get a good jump on that, that could be a pick 6. So if you're Ashley Ridge right now, 52 seconds left, I understand trying to be aggressive, but maybe just kind of take a knee here and kind of get into the locker room. We've already seen one unfortunate error for them with the fumble in the end zone. Let's see with Ashley Ridge if they try to come up with a big play.
Similar to Kiefer trying to turn around West Ashley, that can be said for Fiddler and Ashley Ridge. It's what he did at Waccamaw. 1 win total in 2 years. Then he goes to the playoffs in 2019. That was before he took over Ashley Ridge, but it's a tough night for him here. 46 seconds left in the half and a flag down.
And a false start. And what was really important about that last incomplete pass, Darren, it stopped the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's 46 seconds left. They decline the penalty, so it's 3rd down. So if they don't pick up a first down here, look for West Ashley to call an immediate timeout, force the punt, and if it's me, I got my punt block on. I don't have anybody back. I got 11 guys, and I'm going to try to get the punt block right before the half.
Imagine the momentum that would swing, right? You just got a fumble in the end zone. Find a way to get the ball, maybe score again, then get the ball to begin the third quarter.
Right. I mean, you got nothing to lose. Even if you rough the kicker, it's 15 yards. You're still in good position.
Clock does wind, though, after the penalty and the placement of the ball. So we're inside 26 seconds now.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't call a timeout to stop that clock from running.
Here's Drayton looking to bounce it to the outside, and he is bounced down to the ground by Caleb Edwards, the guy who recovered the fumble in the end zone.
Big night for a big 4-0. And as expected, West Ashley calls their final timeout with 13 seconds. So, yeah, this is where you try to just come up with a big play. And again, I just love the pursuit of Edwards. I mean, this guy he's always on the attack, always trying to get to the football. Just a football player. 6'2" senior. And anything can happen in these situations, Darren. Especially if I'm a punter and I know I got 11 guys coming, you have a tendency to kind of lift that head up and see who's coming and take your eye off the ball. Anything can happen in this situation. So great execution in terms of end of the half by West Ashley. With the assist from Ashley Ridge, throwing it on first down.
And second.
Yeah.
One thing Shane Fiddler took from Donnie Kiefer when their friendship started is a mentality of a state championship. He said, there were times I would tell my teams, hey, goal's the playoffs. And Kiefer said, well, why? Because then you get to the playoffs and it feels like you reached your goal. The goal is the goal. It's the end game. We've seen a big leg from McCune all night tonight in the punting game, and you're going to see it again here. Down to the 32, so that's a 46-yard punt.
And only, 5 seconds left on the clock, so I'm assuming this will be a kneel down. Especially on Saturdays. I can't tell you how many times, Darren, obviously you and I watch a lot of college football on Saturdays. The one that comes to mind is really like South Carolina against East Carolina and last week against Troy. Within the last minute of the first half, they've come up with big turnovers that resulted in 6 points. So that's why they say, do you play until the clock is at 0?
At the moment, it is at 6. 5. If my eyes were a little better, they would have told you 5 in the first place.
That getting old, man. It's not,
it's a killer.
I'm right there ahead of you, so if you want to catch me, feel free. But
no, I don't want to catch you.
That's
like if I catch you, then things haven't gone okay.
That's a valid point, my friend. Valid point.
West Ashley will have the ball to begin the third quarter. They do take that knee. A touchdown through the air on a back shoulder, literally on the shoulder pad. It was caught to Sakara Smalls from Gabe Johnson, and a fumble recovery in the end zone from Caleb Edwards. The 2 scores for the Wildcats, as Donnie Kiefer's group, which has come into this game winners of 2 straight, have a 2-touchdown lead at the half.
There, this is going to be funny. I look at this shot that's coming up.
Donnie Kiefer is with Trooper Bob.
6 minutes before the half. What's your take on the entire first half?
Tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough physical game, and, both teams are playing pretty well. We got to cut back on penalties. We've probably got 100 yards of penalties already, plus dropping that punt at the beginning of the game didn't help. So, I think our defense has stepped up and done some good things.
I was going to say, you happy with your defense? They're keeping the points off the board. Also, your special teams was able to get the ball right inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Brian Walmsley, I tell you, he's as good a punter as anybody that I've seen, and I think he's got a future. He's just a junior, so that was huge. Field position flip right there, and then to get the turnover for a touchdown was great.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Well, there you go. Everyone's still here. Half of the people in the concession stands, but no one left the game yet. They're excited. Great night for a football game.
It's pronounced Walmsley, but I prefer to call him Wamsley, because he's a football player and he kicks a football, and it's a great name.
I just think back to a couple of weeks ago, you looking up to Jack, the long champ.
Yes.
That's how Coach Kiefer was looking at Trooper Bob that time. It was like the little guy looking up at the big guy.
You never know. I was like 20 years older than Jack, man. He towers over me. Halftime, 14-0. West Ashley leads it. Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. Each week, David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. The students selected will have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. So let's meet our scholar athletes tonight. We start with Kyra Boykin, another one of those GPAs, almost 5.5. She excels in the pool, does Boykin. 6-year varsity letter winner in swimming. She's a captain of the team. On the state swim team as well. She's going to graduate with an Associate of Arts degree from Trident, part of an early college program. That's pretty impressive. On the other side of things, she also volunteers with Katie's Crops, which is one of the great volunteer programs in the Charleston area. And for West Ashley, Dominica Wells, a 4-year tennis player with a 4.8 GPA. She's part of the National Honor Society Science Olympiad, because there are Olympics for science, and the Academic Bowl, and a 4.83 GPA for Dominica Wells. She volunteers with Children's Tennis Camp, almost about 120 hours worth of that for Dominica Wells. So congratulations to Dominica Wells and Kyra Boykin. Both will be eligible for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season, courtesy of David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group. Speaking of David Ayler, he's with Scott Eisberg.
There is always something special about handing out a $5,000 scholarship check to a very deserving student athlete. David Ayler makes that possible. Why is it? I guess it's just that feeling it gives you down here.
You know, you're giving it to somebody who deserves it. In reality, everybody that puts their applications in deserves it, but it's just so impressive what they do inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and then, of course, on the field in various different sports.
What these kids are overcoming is really special. The last 2 to 3 years, I mean, they have had to overcome a whole lot more than student athletes before them. I guess it makes it even nicer to hand it to somebody that deserves it like that.
Yeah, they've experienced something as students that we never experienced, and they've all come through that. Hoping this year will be smooth throughout, and they'll be able to enjoy themselves on the field and in the classroom.
They've also experienced something that I never did, getting A's on a report card. So
yeah, those GPAs, I don't even understand them. They're so high.
Yeah, David Ayler, presenting sponsor of our Scholar Athlete.
Halftime continues on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. There's not a ton about these productions every Friday night that's better than the music that we've upgraded to this year. That is one of the things that's better. From All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant. For all 30 years, All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant has been your local trophy shop, providing both corporate and sports awards to meet your style and budget. Visit Steve and his crew at All-American Awards. When you recognize excellence, you can find them on the web at awardsguy, that's plural, awardsguy.com. They can make you your very own miniature Lombardi trophy as well if you ask them very nicely. They can make anything for you at All-American Awards, awardsguy.com. Homecoming here at West Ashley. More after this on QFS Transportation. Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Halftime brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. Typically, we give you the rock star cheer of the night, but we remind you to certainly check out Rockstar Cheer if you've got a young one interested in getting into it. Rockstar Cheer of the night. Typically, you'd be able to log on and vote as well. abcnews4.com/poll. Rockstar Cheer. They offer all different types of packages for those interested in getting into it, both competitive, for fun. Check them out at Rockstar Cheer. I'm glad we've got some extra time at the half for homecoming. It gives us a chance to talk about Jack Simsack. He's not your average kicking coach, not at the high school level. He happens to live around Pawleys Island now. He played at Virginia Tech. He kicked in the NFL, and he's a kicking guru of some sorts, and it was a pleasure to speak with Simsack for about 30 minutes prior to this game. And we've been talking about McCune, who's back here punting. This was pregame. Look at the watchful eye that Simsack has from behind on McCune. He was talking up McCune about his potential at the next level, about previous kickers that he has helped. He said pretty much the key is twofold. Number one, you got to be a two-step kicker. If you're taking that third step, you're wasting your time. And number two, 1.4 seconds. If you want to get off a kick, be it a punt, the field goal, You got 1.4 seconds from the time the ball is snapped until the time it leaves your foot. Anytime you do that, it's not going to be blocked. Simsack never had a punt blocked or a kick blocked in his career. He knows a thing or two about what he's saying about working with kickers, and he's got a relationship with Fiddler. The reason he's coaching with Ashley Ridge, when Fiddler was at Waccamaw, that's when they initially hooked up. And Simsack turned this unassuming kicker into a guy who could then go kick in college. And Fiddler said, I got a guy at Ashley Ridge. You can help. And ever since, Simsack has been making the drive to help him out. Great story. Scott Eisberg had it. You can find out more on Scott Eisberg's Twitter feed and on ABC News 4 and abcnews4.com on Jack Simsack.
And the principal, Ryan Comeback, participating in the homecoming festivities.
Got to be involved, right?
Yeah, he's the man. He's done a great job here at West Ashley. And really, as I think they just announced the king, maybe? Yep.
Looks like the king has been announced.
And no, it's not LeBron James. It's a student here. And I didn't catch his name, but congratulations to that young man.
He's dressed sharp.
Yeah.
It's like he knew he'd win. Look, he's got the matching suit. The shoes are perfect to match the purple sash and crown.
He's on point. He is on point. Homecoming's just always a fun time. You know, the whole week and all the festivities. And I know I think there was a pep rally here today. Just always a good time at high school homecoming week. So, Darren, back to my Ashley Ridge story. Do we have time to...
Talea Finner, I believe, is the homecoming queen. Yeah, go for it. Ashley Ridge.
As you know, Darren, I live here in West Ashley, right off of Beast Ferry Road. And so the very first Friday Night Rivals game I had at Ashley Ridge, because Ashley Ridge was fairly a new school. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, so, I get on Glenn McConnell and go, I-26 all the way down, come across, like a 45-minute ride. So coming back from Ashley Ridge, the traffic was pretty backed up. And I just happened to get in the wrong line. Like, I was in the right lane, but I wanted to go straight because I was going to go back the way that I came. So I get in the right lane, and it forces me to turn right on Highway 61.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, well, surely this is not the Highway 61 right by my house. So needless to say, it took me 10 to 15 minutes to get home. So I literally went all the way around coming to Ashley Ridge when all I had to do was take a left on Beast Ferry Road and take a left, and I would have been at Ashley Ridge.
If you talk to my father-in-law, they live out in Givans,
right?
They could have told you that.
Yeah.
I mean, next time, now that you know.
Now that I know. And I would have, had it not been by mistake, I would have driven all the way around to come back home. So that every time I see Ashley Ridge, I think, I literally went the scenic route all the way around to get to Ashley Ridge and turned a 15-minute ride into a 45-minute ride with 5 o'clock traffic on I-26 on a Friday.
You're lucky it only took you 45 minutes. You were just building your anticipation for the Ashley Ridge football game. That's
it. Was, and I think that's when one of the Duncans was the quarterback. I don't know if it was Steven or his brother.
Well, there were 8 years of them, so it's a good bet. Third quarter, when we come back, West Ashley leads it by a couple of touchdowns, and they get the ball to start the second half. Getting ready to start the third quarter. There are 3 players on the field, and Jack Simsack. He just loves it, man. That's him in the white shirt at the top of your screen out there with the Ashley Ridge Kickers. He's got a Coke somewhere on him. It's a pregame and in-game ritual. He said the other ritual he had when he played, and again, this was a Virginia Tech, then into the NFL. Frank Beamer was his holder at Virginia Tech, by the way. So he watched Shane Beamer grow up. That's a different story. There's the Coke. Told you to be with him. Game day tradition. He said when he was kicking, his mom, this goes back to, I guess, high school. Must be. She said, why don't you wear one sock inside out? So, why? She said, little tradition, Hungarian tradition. Never wore 2 socks correctly in his career again. Always.
Wow.
Always one sock inside out for good luck. It worked out. Kicked in the NFL.
And kind of ironic, of all places, where when you think of special teams, you think Virginia Tech and Beamer ball, that's where he went. So it's kind of fitting. But, yeah, you're right there. And I enjoyed talking to him before the game, down on the field, and just the wisdom and the knowledge. And, like you said, I think he said, it was 11 high schools and 3 universities that he's trying to help?
Yeah, at least. And he offers the help. He wants to. I mean, it's something that gives him a thrill. He doesn't ask for any money to do it, and he is a vital asset. When I asked Shane Fiddler, Ashley Ridge, the head coach, when I said, wait, before we end this conversation, I want to ask you about Jack Simsack, he lit up. But right now he's probably not as happy. He's with Trooper Bob, and he's trailing 14-0.
Down here with the coach. Coach, it's 14-0. A lot of football left. What was your message to your team at halftime to keep them in the game, keep their spirits up?
We got to execute. We had chances there in the first quarter. We blew a chance with a penalty and dropped some key footballs. So we got to go out there and execute. In the second quarter, we kind of got stalled up. They did a good job on defense, but we got to fire off the ball up front. We've got to execute on skill positions.
Would you like to see more of a ground game or air game in the second half from your team?
Hey, you got to win in the trenches to win the game. So that's where we got to take care of it right now. That's where we're getting beat.
Coach, thank you for your time. Best luck in the second half. Well, there you have it. You guys were talking about Hungarian. I just did my 23andMe, and my stuff came back straight Budapest. Nowhere in the world but Budapest. That's where I'm from anyway. Good to hear some Hungarian here on a Friday night.
Good to know those things work. If it came back, and that's what you thought you were.
You see Darren Shane Fettler still talking to the officials, wanting to know. I'm sure it's about that touchdown pass that was taken off the board by the offensive pass interference.
Baseball playoffs in full swing, full day of it today. All 4 games, the divisional series. The Braves fall to the Brewers 2-1. Houston now leads the White Sox 2-0 in the divisional series there. Underway and into the 5th inning. Tampa Bay is trailing Boston 8-5. Boston coming off the wild card victory, but also the loss to Tampa yesterday. And tonight, game 1 of the NLDS, the 2 best teams out in the West, the Dodgers and the Giants.
A couple of high school scores to pass along to you at the half. Fort Dorchester leading Goose Creek 14-6. Apparently, Fort Dorchester was up 7-0 early on. Goose Creek was going in for the tying score and fumbled on the 3-yard line. They would score later on in the half, but right now they trail 14-6 at the half. Cane Bay over Stratford 21-14 at the half. In the third quarter in the upper state, probably the game of the week in the state, Dorman leads Gaffney 21-7.
Wow.
Another local score to pass along to you. Second quarter, Hammond leads First Baptist 14-0.
Hammond always a powerhouse. C.J. Stokes there. C.J. Stokes will be heading to Michigan. Maybe one of the better running backs in the state.
They've had some players. Obviously, Eric Kimry now, an assistant coach at South Carolina. He did such a great job building that Hammond dynasty. A couple of players that play at Carolina, the defensive lineman.
Jordan Birch.
Right.
Yes.
At Hammond.
Highly, highly touted prospect, Jordan Birch. Gamecocks have an interesting one tomorrow. They play Tennessee. They are 10.5-point underdogs last time I checked.
Those noon starts are sometimes tough, to kind of get yourself going and everything. So it means now you're eating pregame meal like at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so never been a big fan of those noon starts.
I'll tell you, as a fan and as a broadcaster, I love noon starts. Because if it's not noon, then you're waiting around all day long.
Right.
And I would much rather just get to it. McCune's kickoff goes back to the 9-yard line and is returned about 11 yards. That was Mungin.
And speaking of get to it, this Ashley Ridge defense, they've got to get in the backfield of West Ashley. We talked about it, trailing 14-0. They gave up the touchdown right before the half. It's very vital that preferably they can force a 3 and out, but at all costs, you cannot allow West Ashley to have a big play or, more importantly, go on a long, time-consuming drive and cap it off with points, because right now possessions are of the utmost importance for Ashley Ridge.
Gabe Johnson with a touchdown pass in the opening half, so he's got 3 touchdowns in his last, 6 quarters of play. Porter grabbed up high, not a horse collar, and then the 2 leading tacklers, the inside backers, Garland and Wilson, bring him down after a gain of 2.
Yeah, Joseph Steen was the pull guy here. Didn't necessarily get a good job of getting out in that lead. You can tell you kind of got to give Porter some space. Right now, these offensive linemen, they got to get out there and kind of be that lead block. And that will free up Porter to come up with big plays. But right now, it seems like everything he's getting there, and it's kind of really kind of on his own when he's outside on the perimeter.
Entered the game averaging 7 yards a carry and 160 a game. 2nd down and 8. They fake it to him, and Johnson gets stood up by 56 Geddes.
Yeah, T.J. Wilson also in on the stop, and a great job from a discipline standpoint by Ashley Ridge not to fall for the fake to Porter.
You feel like it's the Ashley Ridge defense that needs to create something for the offense, kind of jumpstart them?
Yeah, because when you look at the West Ashley defense, they've done a great job of really not giving them much room to do anything. They did have that one drive that ended with the missed field goal, but other than that, they've really been almost non-existent. So I think it's going to take the defense forcing a turnover, maybe getting a pick 6 or a scoop and score, just something to help out this Ashley Ridge team.
Porter's going to throw it. He's got a man wide open, Zaquan Smith. Did he catch it is the question.
Looks like he's coming for the mark, so yep, it's a catch. And I called that, Darren. Remember I said earlier they're going to come up. The interesting thing on this one, though, is they go to the left. So he's really literally having to kind of throw across his body. Nice job of getting it out to Smith, and Smith able to come up with the reception. But normally, with him being a right-handed player, you'd like to see him roll right so that we can kind of get a little more umped on it. But a great job, great pass by Mr. Porter.
26 yards and a Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. The big plays for the Wildcats have come through the air. They go back to the ground. Hasn't been loosened up by that much. Omar Harris in on the stop after a gain of about 3.
That was a great call. It's almost like the West Ashley offensive staff, they were kind of setting Ashley Ridge up. Kept going to the toss, and hoping that they would sneak in, and that's what they did. But, again, they go right back to the bread and butter, just giving the ball to Porter and see if Porter can make a way through the middle. We used to call it the C play, Darren. Just give it to Porter and see what he can do. That time it didn't necessarily work to their liking, but I'm sure they'll go right back to him.
It's pretty much their bread and butter. He bounces one to the outside, breaks free of a tackle, and angles with a stiff arm down the sideline. He is out of bounds. He is out of bounds at the 5 and a gain of 35 and a Miller Mott College first down for Jaleel Porter.
Tough run by Porter, able to bounce it outside, come around the left, run through tackles. You got to get 2 hands on this guy. And here at the end, a stiff arm to just kind of push it, keep the defender away, almost able to take it to the house, but knocked out of bounds. But it's 1st and goal for the Wildcats.
First time Porter's really broken free. If you were to tell Shane Fiddler before the game, first half, Porter's never really going to get it going. You're pretty much going to hold that in check. You're going to be down 14-0. He'd probably say, what?
He'd sign up for it. But he's just such a great back. It's just almost hard to contain him the entire game.
On 1st and goal, he is swarmed and falls forward for a yard.
Yeah, T.J. Wilson was the first guy to get a hand on him, and then the rest of his teammates came and kind of helped assist get him down, and that's what it takes. One guy's not going to bring down Porter. It's going to take a whole defensive effort. Nice job by Wilson. Also, Will Wright in on the stop.
8.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Opening drive of the quarter that started at their 20. 26-yard pass play and a 35-yard run on the drive. It's going to be Porter who lowers the shoulder into Garland and moves Garland back into the end zone. A touchdown for Porter, physically bulldozing his way in for your Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
Yeah, he earned that touchdown this past summer in the weight room. Got those legs chopping, never stopped the legs moving, able to push 4 white jerseys into the end zone. That's why you lift during the summer. That's why you run the hills. That's why you work, and that the hard work is paying off for Mr. Touchdown Man himself, Jaleel Porter.
Donnie Kiefer said after the first half he wants to clean up the penalties. He estimated they had about 100 yards in the first half. On the first drive here in the second half, 7 plays, 80 yards, no penalties, and a touchdown.
Well, we talked about it. That's the one thing that really Ashley Ridge could not allow. And give credit to Wes Ashley for being able to have that third down, the big play here, as you saw the replay, the pass from Porter. Got him into Ashley Ridge territory, and then able to finish it off with just punish, run, and get into the end zone. Nice drive by the Wildcats.
I do my best to give you an estimate of yardage. Keep in mind it's very unofficial, but approximately West Ashley had about 95 yards in the first half because they kept moving backwards with penalties. Never really sustained a whole lot. That drive went 80 yards, so it puts that in perspective for you, how much more complete that drive was. It had 2 big plays in it. We saw one big play in the first half. It was the touchdown reception.
It's all about, we heard the coaches say it's about, winning the trenches, which is true, but sometimes you have to have those big plays as well. And they help to get those big chunk yards. And West Ashley right now just really in a nice groove offensively, running it, passing it. The coaching staff calling a great game for the Wildcats. And now the challenge for Ashley Ridge, Darren, is you just can't quit. You can't. Don't play the scoreboard. Just play like the score is 0-0. Use this opportunity to continue to get better. So don't worry about it. You can't hang your head. You can't give up. Just continue to play Ashley Ridge football.
Fiddler's in his second year with Ashley Ridge. You replace Kenny Walker. What are the odds of 2 Penn State fans, back-to-back coaches at one high school in South Carolina? Xavier Ori down at the line of scrimmage on that pass play to open the drive.
You see the turf now starting to come up, really taking a beating tonight. That rain did not do it any favor. And, man, I tell you, Laguerre has been all over the field tonight. We've said his name several times. Hopefully just a Charlie horse or a cramp for him. But he's been a phenomenal talent in that back end for West Ashley this evening.
They'll scrimmage from the 32. It's second down and 10 with 7.5 minutes to go in the third. Xavier Proctor Floyd, originally a quarterback or a wide receiver, now a quarterback, and he darts this to Xavier Ori. A big play, the biggest of the night for Ashley Ridge. Gets him down inside the 30.
Yeah, Ori on the previous play lost his footing. This time he did not lose his footing, and a strike thrown hit him in stride. Thought he was going to be able to outrun Ori, but wasn't able to do in the touchdown saving tackle by Smith.
Got a 30-yard play there for Proctor Floyd to Ori. And this will be DJ Drayton into the arms of Pierce Ori. Gain of about 5.
Yeah, nice, strong run by Drayton. Went looking for the contact, was not afraid of it from Ori, and this is definitely 4-down territory here, Darren. You're down 3 touchdowns. Field goals are not going to do you any good, so right now, Ashley Ridge, they've got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone.
Ashley Ridge brought back one offensive skill position player from last year. Proctor Floyd, who was a wide receiver like I stumbled my way through, won the job at quarterback. Fiddler said, you could tell in the offseason the teammates believed in him. It was obvious that they were responding. He said, he won that job, man. The guys are playing for him. And you can see the progression, but they're going to back up here.
And that's the one position that you have to have confidence in. When the teammates, they follow their quarterback's lead. If they believe in their quarterback, they're going to give you that maximum effort. And they felt like they could win with him, and that's why he won the job. So getting a great opportunity here to lead this football team. And again, he was a wide receiver, still learning kind of on the job. Mm-hmm. I think he has a bright future ahead of him for sure.
Another drop, that through the hands of Derek Sally. It's 3rd down and 10 with just over 6 minutes to go in the third quarter.
That's when he's kind of have to step to his target. He kind of threw that one kind of flat-footed, kind of on his back foot, and that's why the ball kind of sailed on him. So just a little better footwork there. I know the field's kind of choppy, but those simple plays, those should be easy passes for him that should generate a lot of positive yards.
It's hard to tell. I mean, you sink. You can almost tell it. When you're walking on that field, you really do sink in. Proctor Floyd to the end zone. Jaleel Porter in coverage and no flags intended for Ori.
It's kind of hard to watch a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, or Sunday afternoon game where a wide receiver doesn't come up with the play and they immediately go looking for the flag.
Uh-huh.
It's just almost like it's a wide receiver thing, and the same thing happened there. Great coverage by Wes Ashley. Now, can the Wildcats stop the Swamp Foxes from picking up this first down?
It is 4th down and 10. 6:09 left in the third quarter. On 4th and 10, Proctor Floyd blown up. It is an incomplete pass.
The blitz came straight up the middle, and guess who was there first? One Mr. Caleb Edwards came straight up the middle, forced the incomplete pass. Or he thought it was a scoop and score, but no, it was an incomplete pass, and Wes Ashley takes over on downs.
We'll bring you back for the rest of the third quarter. Halfway through the third quarter, a 3-touchdown lead for the homestanding Wildcats. Wildcats set for their second possession of the second half after going 80 yards to open the half. And their third touchdown of the game. That drive that just stalled out for Ashley Ridge, their best of the game, netting 40 yards. But a penalty is really what derailed it. They had it down to the 23, then a false start backed them up to the 28. 3 plays later, they turned it over on downs.
And that really has been the story for Ashley Ridge really all season long, but more specifically over the last 2 weeks. Going back to last week's loss against Fort Dorchester and here tonight. They've at times done a nice job of moving the football, but unfortunately for them, they have nothing to show for it. And you have to give credit to that West Ashley defense, that kind of bend but don't break mentality of allowing them to move the football really between the 20s, 30s, but not being able to put any points on the board. So great job by West Ashley defensively.
Gabe Johnson with the last word for Caleb Edwards. And the senior who transferred in from Goose Creek ready to go. And he's got Jaleel Porter darting into the secondary and off to the races. Jaleel Porter caught from behind. It was Gordon who got him.
Back in the day, Darren, and during film study, we said, come on, man. You can't let that man run you down. You got to take that to the house. But an impressive run by Jaleel Porter. Great field vision. Again, you see he had the hole. He hit it with a blazing speed. And it was just a foot race. And give credit to the Swamp Foxes not giving up on the play as Gordon able to run him down at the very last end. And these holes at the offensive line the West Ashley is opening. Just
in this half.
I mean,
they wore him down.
If that's how they're going to block Darren, I mean, you and I should just go put some pads on and see if we can run through those holes as well.
Yeah, I might get into the hole. I'm not going to go far once I get there. By the way, that Millermont College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. It was a run of 56 yards for Jaleel Porter.
Zaquan Smith, he's starting to smell the end zone as well. He wants to get his name in the paper or mentioned on the Friday Night Rivals scoreboard show as scoring a touchdown tonight on homecoming here at West Ashley. This is back-to-back weeks, Darren. We've seen some very impressive running back performances, starting last week with the gentleman from Goose Creek.
Simmons. They faced each other in week one, and that was kind of the storyline going into the week. Check out the two running backs squaring off. Second down and 3. Porter cuts it downfield and has the first down inside of the 5.
Yeah, when you got holes like that, you have to give it up for the offensive line. They're doing an outstanding job sealing guys, sealing blocks. You see right there the big pull coming from Joshua Simmons, the senior, just getting out front. You see right there Colby Nicholson also on the offensive line, leading the charge.
That was Zaquan Smith, not Porter. And it is Smith who stays in the game at running back.
Dravian Blake also up front.
Another try here for Zaquan. And he's down at the 1, so it'll be second and goal.
Once again, Simmons, a nice job of pulling and leading the way for the running backs of West Ashley. And when you have guys that size that can pull and move like that, that's like heaven sent if you're a running back, because you just get behind the big ends and they'll lead you right into the end zone. So, again, a second and goal coming up, and you know they want to be able to put another 6 on the board and really extend this lead for West Ashley.
Wildcats use most of the play clock on most plays. They're down at 5 now, 3.5 left in the quarter. Second down and goal. A pitch behind Porter, who brings it in and waltzes in.
Yeah.
Second touchdown for Porter, a Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college. And it's 27-0 Wildcats.
Yeah, you called it, Darren. That pitch was actually behind him, and a great job by Porter, able to kind of corral it with one hand and kind of bring it in himself, and then able to finish off the run. That's what I like about him. He finishes off every run. Another touchdown for Porter.
152 yards of offense for West Ashley in 2 drives this quarter, without a penalty.
What a difference in halves. I mean, the first half, they couldn't run a play without a penalty, and now, like you said, back-to-back drives, penalty-free.
Yeah, big plays incorporated into the drives, not shooting yourself in the foot. This is kind of a glimpse at what West Ashley's offense can be towards the end of the year. If they can keep building on this, play mistake-free football, This is an idea of what this team might be under Donnie Kiefer, who has a pedigree of 260 career wins, twice named the South Carolina Class A Coach of the Year. He's in his second year with the Wildcats.
You mentioned it, Darren, back to using the play clock. Smart by West Ashley, especially when you have a lot of guys going both ways. It kind of shortens the games for them. So, yeah, allow them to catch, 20-second breather in between plays and use as much time on the clock. And you can do that when you're in control and you're ahead. When you're trailing, it's probably not the best strategy to utilize, but another strong drive by the Wildcats. You have to think, after somewhat of a short week of practice, Coach Kiefer and his staff, they have to be pleased with what they're seeing out here from their squad tonight. We're talking offense, defense. Got a little scuffle there at the 35-yard line. But just the fact that they're clicking on all three phases, and that's what's kind of defines a really solid football team. You can execute on offense, you can execute on defense, and in the special teams. Of course, they got off to a rocky start there, Darren, with the fumble on the opening punt return, but they've been able to kind of get it together. We saw a bunch of solid kicks from the punter, and even on the kickoff. I mean, they've just really been executing, so solid job tonight for West Ashley.
A little bit more than 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Garland caught from behind by Edwards, who has a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and one of those linebackers that really has benefited from the play of the defensive line. He's been freed up.
And that's when you're getting the job done. As a defensive lineman, when your linebackers have, 10-plus tackles or just a ton of tackles, that means you've done your job because you allow them to run freely and not have to worry about, offensive linemen getting in their path.
Second down and 8. They try Garland again. And look who's the first guy to meet him, number 40. It's hard to tell because they look like Raider jerseys now with the combination of mud on the black. And you got the darker numbers.
It's funny, Darren. They say black makes you look smaller, like just slimmer. And I keep looking at the main man down there, Deshaun Ramsey, 79. It's not working. The black jersey's not making Mr. Ramsey look any smaller, but he's having a grand time tonight, making his presence felt on the front line. So big third down coming up, and this is where you can kind of pin your ears back because they're not looking to run the football.
Over the middle, it's caught. DJ Drayton, hits the button and slides by Pierce Horry for a Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports.
Pitch and catch. Might almost look like it was like a little 5-yard curl. Got down and nice job. Made a couple of guys miss, and that's what you got to do. You got to be shifty when you have the football in your hands. Get your playmakers in open space and allow them to do what they can do best, which is make people miss. So good job and a much-needed first down for Ashley Ridge.
But that's not what you need to see. A guy who Shane Fiddler has tried to get the ball to as often as possible and just did for the first down. Drayton limping off the field.
Now we'll down 4 touchdowns. I expect to see the Swamp Foxes put it up in the air early and often, as many times as they can, as they try to get back into this football game, trailing by 4 touchdowns.
A minute 39 on a running clock in the third quarter. Swamp Foxes put together a 40-yard drive that stalled out on their last possession. Shakari Smalls backs up Garland here. A loss of a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11.
We talked about it in the first half there and caught the touchdown, and now he's making plays on the defensive side of the football. And when you look out on the defensive side, you see a lot of the guys that, we see their names on the offensive side as well. So these guys, despite the conditions and the somewhat humidity out there tonight, just doing an outstanding job of playing both ways.
It was a little muggy to start. I think as the night has worn on, it's cooled off a little bit. 2nd and 11. He gathers it to Proctor Floyd and hits Ori, who's still not down. Now they'll whistle him down. That play took forever. The ball was in the air forever, and it picks up like 4 yards.
Langston Bailey was the initial defender to make contact, the sophomore. You're right there. They continue to really just kind of throw across the hash marks. And that's why you have to wrap up there. You just can't go up for the big, what we like to call ESPN hit. You got to wrap up, grab the back of that jersey, and get that guy on the ground.
Seen some big hits, especially early on from the Ashley Ridge linebackers. 3rd down and 4. Proctor Floyd back to the air, but they're short. Sliding down 2 yards short of the marker is Xavier Ori, who came into the night with 13 receptions, the leading receiver on the team.
And that's one, as a wide receiver, you have to know where the sticks are. So you know you have to, the stick is right there at the 49. You got to run to the other 49, and that way if you have to come back, you're still able to pick up a first down should you catch the football. But that time, Ori, nice job of catching the football, but he kind of rounded it off a little too short.
That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter. West Ashley will get the ball. Or I guess the better way to put it, Ashley Ridge will punt to begin the 4th. Wildcats lead at 28-0 on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Hello from Cruz Chevrolet. I'm Scott Eisberg with Ken French, Scott Milroth, the marketing guy. Let's talk to you first, Ken French. Year in, year out, you guys are on board with Friday Night Rivals. Why is that?
Well, first of all, we love it. We love supporting local sports teams, and this just seemed like a great way to get some added exposure to help the community some. So we're happy to be partners of y'all's, and we're locally owned and operated. Robert and Kelly Cruz. We've been here for almost 12 years now as Cruz Chevrolet, and it's just great to give back to the community, and that's something that Robert demands that we do day in and day out is give back.
Scott, what could they come to you for?
I'll tell you what, you come down and see us. We have a phenomenal selection of used cars. We're starting to get some new inventory in. Our trucks are flying, so come and see us. We'd be happy to help you. Best place to buy a vehicle 6 years in a row.
You've got a friend in the car business on Rivers, just north of Northwoods Mall.
Jason Bennett, Nick Case, they're showing you all the pictures that we're talking about. Everett German, Darren Goldwater up here with you. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. And in this half, it's been driven by West Ashley in most phases of the game.
Yeah, I'd say offensively, defensively, every time I see Coach Kiefer, I'm just like, Yeah, he's a tiny old dude, but he knows a lot of football.
Sure
he
does.
knows a lot of football. But yeah, like I said, we were talking, Darren, just offensively and defensively. Yeah, they've stopped Ashley Ridge from drives, and offensively they've done a nice job with time-consuming drives that they've ended with points.
That's the second time they've fumbled a punt, but this time Mungin gets it back. I believe it was Smith at the beginning of the game. Ashley Ridge got the ball to start the game, punts it, and West Ashley fumbled it, and that gave Ashley Ridge an opportunity, one that they scored and then had that taken away with an offensive pass interference. Ashley Ridge on their next possession drove down for a field goal try from 46. That was short. And haven't really threatened again. Meanwhile, West Ashley here in this half, 2 possessions, 80 yards and a touchdown, and 72 yards and a touchdown. It's going to be a lot of Porter here in this drive, don't you think?
I'd have to say. Who was that leading the charge?
Looked like it was...
Looks like Joshua Simmons. He was like looking for the running back, like, hey, where are you? I got you. See another penalty flag on the play. But Simmons was out there and looking for someone to block. That's always a good situation to be in if you're a running back. It's been a late hit of some sort.
All I could read was a personal foul late. Oh, I didn't see late. Personal foul number 34.
Right.
So that's A.J. Williams. So the run is an A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes. And then add 15 more to it, and just like that, they're at the 44.
You know, speaking of disaster striking, I just dawned on me as a punt returner in high school, when you practice during the day, it's obviously sunlight, right?
Well, yeah.
But at game night, you play at nighttime, it's a whole different look. So if you're not used to looking into the lights, I could see where a kid could have some difficulty.
That would make sense. Johnson comes up limping a little as Zaquan Smith falls on that fumble.
Just dawned on me as he was looking into when he fumbled that punt. It's the high snap there. And you're right there. It looked like he
did Smith
twisted.
fall on him? Because he looked fine at the beginning of the play.
Right.
And then he hobbled a little.
Oh, and it looks like we have the backup quarterbacks in now, Darren. So
yeah, Chris Doloff. Zaquan Smith directing his blockers, pushing forward close to midfield. It'll be a run of almost 10 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 5.
Right now it's just pulling guards, and they're just running behind Simmons. Also Joseph Steen in on the play as well, doing a great job of blocking. And again, you're just coming around the corner. Nothing fancy, just keep it simple, and you just keep running the same play until they can stop you.
I don't see anywhere Gabe Johnson getting attended to, but there's a ball on the ground, and I think it's Geddes who's on it. Xavier Geddes, 36, not 56. Cade Branham recovers the fumble for Ashley Ridge.
Yeah, Dolda took his eyes off. He was looking to hand it off to Smith, and that's why you have to literally watch the ball into your hands. If you take your eye off just for a quick second, that's going to be the result. So a break for Ashley Ridge as they try to score their first points of the evening.
Second time they'll have a drive start in plus territory. This starts at the 44. Fourth quarter, 10 minutes, 24 seconds left. In week 7, QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Little pump fake for Floyd and a flag in. He wanted Ori.
Yeah. And Laguerre did a nice job, but he definitely kind of hooked him with that backhand. So good call by that back official. As we see here. Again, you see right there the hand kind of pulling the jersey. So good call. That'll be an automatic first down for Ashley Ridge. And I was going to say, if you're Coach Fiddler right now, you just want to simply put some points on the board. Just have something good so that way, whether it be tomorrow or Monday, whenever they watch film, that he could show the good in the game, because they've done good things tonight. Just unfortunately for them, it's not resulted in points. So if you could cap off this drive with some points, then hopefully you can carry that momentum over to next week's game and just keep building this program one block at a time.
They're going to give him 5 more yards, so 20 yards in penalties here for West Ashley on back-to-back plays.
Now, on the other side of the field, if you're West Ashley, you don't want to get sloppy here. You played a great game up to this point. You're leading 28-0. Obviously, you're going to win this football game unless something just crazy happens. But, again, don't play the scoreboard. Play like it's a one-possession game. Continue to work on your craft and get better each and every night you step on the field.
Here's Garland now. Skylar Walton, 73, is leading the way. He takes a punishing hit from Chris Doloff. So 13, who came in as the backup quarterback, is also now playing in a reserve role back at safety.
And a nice job by the defense here, kind of stringing this out. They didn't let him turn up the field. They kept pushing him towards the sideline. And then once he ran out of the room, also K.J. Brown there on the stop with him as well. So a nice job, West Ashley Wildcat defense, stringing that play out.
2nd down and 2, 9:50 left in the game. Here's Gaston cutting it downfield for the first down. K.J. Brown plays older than his sophomore status would indicate. He's everywhere.
Yeah. In the backfield, sideline to sideline. Again, always, he's just so aggressive, and you love to see that from these young kids, just not afraid to make a play. They're going 100%. They're giving it their all. And this defense is a very athletic, fast defense that West Ashley has on that side of the football.
It's a first down for the Swamp Foxes. On the money, and it's good for another first down. Derek Sally, A&I Fire and Water Restoration, first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes. It's 1st and goal.
Talking about splitting the defenders. Nice job by Sally. Simple pass here, a little 5-yard curl, able to complete it, and then just turn up, and yeah, you can't miss tackles though. K.J. Brown, also Rajon Richards, unfortunately could not bring down the Swamp Fox.
Right back to Sally. This time he's met as the ball gets to him by Antoine Chisholm.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think I said Rajon Richards. That was Antoine Chisholm on that previous play as well. And that's, in this situation, Darren, obviously the end zone, so it's a short field. So if you're on the secondary, you can be very aggressive because, well, they can't run out the end zone. So sometimes this is the most challenging place to score because you don't have a lot of field to work with, and you can kind of sit on those quick outs.
Ask that young man who's wearing a Gamecock shirt. When the Gamecocks get close, they're having a lot of problems scoring.
It's Parker White time.
That's a lot of good time for him. Same with Xavier Ori, who stretches in for his first touchdown of the year, a Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college, the Swamp Foxes pay off the turnover with points.
And I love it. Just a simplified play for Ashley Ridge, giving the quarterback something that he could complete and have confidence in. Nice job by Ashley Ridge. Finally, officially, for the first time on the scoreboard tonight. Obviously, they had a touchdown call back earlier, but you love to see that if you're Shane Fiddler. No quit in this team. They're playing till the end.
There's McCune's extra point with 8 minutes and 10 seconds left. Ashley Ridge is on the board. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. 44-yard drive for Ashley Ridge. It began on a fumble recovery, and they cap it off in the end zone with a Proctor Floyd to Xavier Ori connection. 28-7 is our score. Next week, we've got Oceanside and Hanahan, which last year was one of the best games in the area. This year, it'll be played at Hanahan. So year 2 under Art Craig.
What a job he's done. No, all he does is win. Whether it's at Timberland, Hanahan, he has this system. He runs it to perfection. And he's got, kids now that want to be a part of success, and that's what Hanahan has. And, of course, Joe Call making the change from Somerville to Oceanside. He's done a great job as well. So looking forward to going to Hanahan next week for the Land Sharks and the Hawks.
So Hawks like to go down and take fish out of the water, but they're playing a shark that's on the land.
Yeah, that hawk knows what's good for him. They better soar. I wouldn't mess with Jaws if I was a hawk.
I've been advised not to think too much about it. It's probably smart. I probably thought too much about it already. There's a flag in on that return. So that'll be next Friday on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevy. I remember Josh Shaw was a freshman running back last year. He's a sophomore for Hanahan now. He is a very good football player. There's a block in the back on the return. There's a young quarterback for Hanahan now as well. Oceanside's got a couple offensive linemen that are regarded as some of the best in the state.
About to say, I know they got the one big kid. I think he offered by South Carolina. Or I know he's on a visit, if I'm not mistaken.
Trying to think of his name. Freeland or Freeman? You'd think I'd remember, right? We just did the game a couple of weeks ago, but it's funny how these things happen. When you do a game, I promise you, by the time I'm in my car tonight,
you delete all the rosters.
The memory is just wiped clean.
Speaking of Oceanside, how about the job Sam Hartman's doing for Wake Forest? Those guys 5-0.
Best team in the ACC, maybe?
Could be. Nice stop. Ashley Ridge. So, is that Chipper Johnson?
The public address announcer just said the same issue you did. On the stop for the Swamp Foxes, number 38, parentheses, checks roster, 38 doesn't exist. No announcement.
So we're sorry if his parents, hopefully his parents are here watching, but if they're watching at home, we apologize. But a solid play by 38.
Could have been Cade Branham as well, 36. A little bit more for Jaleel Porter. Some of the reserves getting some time here for Ashley Ridge. 7 minutes and change left in the game.
Outside of his field vision, Darren, the thing that really has impressed me is just his ability to run through tackles. Arm tackles are not going to bring Porter down. He keeps those legs moving, and that's something that you like to see in a young man that hopefully will, transfer over to the next level should he have the opportunity to play on Saturdays. So never let an arm tackle bring you down. That's what he's done tonight, just doing a nice job of just continuing and finishing off plays.
3rd down and 6. Johnson will throw it, and it is a beautiful ball to Khalil Robertson. Over the shoulder, dropped it in. He's down at the 48-yard line.
The junior, 5'11", 160, running the old 9 route. That was just a fly. Just run down the field. I'm going to throw it to you. A nice pass from Gabe Johnson. As you see, just put it all into it and just threw it up and let the wide receiver go up and make a play. Big first down for the Wildcats.
32 yards on that connection, which gives West Ashley more time to kill time. This is an offense that does that as well as any we've seen. This is Doloff still in the game. I'm not sure if it was Johnson who threw that ball before or if it wasn't just Doloff who has remained in the game, which is the much more likely scenario instead of me saying Johnson.
What I also like during these times, Darren, you mentioned it, the backups getting a chance to play. Kids who come to practice every day, Monday through Thursday. It was confirmed, Gabe Johnson was the one on the pass. But their opportunity to kind of put in the work and show what they can do. So I love seeing that really on both sides of the football and both teams. A nice job by the coaches, just kind of making everybody feel like they're a part of this program.
Johnson, after throwing that pass, went back to the bench. Is rubbing something on his right calf. So the lefty Doloff now has to scramble. He's got an angle for the sticks. He's got the sticks. And an A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes, and it takes us inside 5.5 to play.
How about this, Darren? When he was sitting in the pocket, as we see here, waiting, he kind of reminded me of number 13 that plays, well, now he's number 1, that plays for the Dolphins. He kind of looked like Tua there, just kind of standing, left-handed, wore number 13. Just his positioning kind of reminded me of Tua. Tua's had a tough go of it. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on the field soon.
Certainly worth watching, isn't it? Zaquan Smith breaks through to the second level, spins his way into the third, and is caught by Zach Scalpino.
Yeah, had it been for Scalpino, it would have been a touchdown. Zeno for number 6, Zaquan Smith. As once again, here's Aaron, just keep running. Like, don't stop, don't try to shift. Just right here, just hit that burst and just try to extend and just get into the end zone. But a solid run there by Zaquan is, again, he feels like now it's my turn. Porter, you got your touchdowns. Now it's my turn to get into the end zone.
Another one for him. He bounces off the hit of Branham, spins through the line of scrimmage, and is going to get up and see a flag in the backfield.
That's using the area of holding, but let's get the official call. Indeed, holding. So outside of just the penalties, Coach Kiefer, he's going to be happy with his team. Anytime a win is a win. It's another region win, so West Ashley after this, they'll improve to 2-0 in region, playing a big showdown coming up for them in 2 weeks when they'll have to go to Fort Dorchester. But, again, to be able to come out a very talented Ashley Ridge team and to come out and just come away victorious and to put up 28 points on Ashley Ridge, a very good defense, he's going to be happy tonight.
It's the strength of the Ashley Ridge team is this defense. That was Ethan Timmons, 44, getting into the action. Yeah, I think there's plenty to be happy for if you're Donnie Kiefer. After the first half, where you happen to have the lead, even though you didn't play great football, you led it 14-0, but there were penalties and shooting yourself in the foot multiple times, and you come out in the second half with 2 long touchdown drives, penalty-free, fixed a lot of the wrongs at the half, and have commanded this game.
Yeah, I think the killer for them, though, is that last touchdown right before the first half.
Zaquan Smith. Then he got bent over awkwardly as he got down towards the 10.
I'm sure when Coach
there are no flags.
When Coach Fiddler goes back to look at the film, as we see a replay here, nothing fancy, just a toss sweep, running through tackles. Good job shadow blocking by the wide receivers. Tough run. But you almost wonder if he could go back and do it again. Maybe he does just a quarterback sneak just a couple times to get out of there, make them use their timeouts. I believe they only had 2 timeouts at that time, and they would have been able to run out the clock, going into the half, only down 7-0 instead of, 14.
2.5 minutes left in the ball game. Dolph had Smith in the flat. Doesn't take that one. Tip ball. Caught. Touchdown, West Ashley. How do you like it, Javen Peterkin?
Wow. It's just West Ashley's night. Last week, those balls that were tipped for Ashley Ridge were interceptions for Fort Dorchester. Tonight, they get the tip balls, but unfortunately, they end up as touchdowns for West Ashley. But you're right. He could have ran the football. He had someone in the flat, and he just wanted to make the difficult throw, and it worked out for him. And the result, a touchdown.
First touchdown of the year for the junior Peterkin. It's a lesson for all you younger guys playing Pee Wee football. Don't give up on the play.
Right. You never know.
And it comes with 2:26 left in the game.
They're calling for somebody on the extra point team.
Yeah, they're man down. Now they got 11.
In this situation, everybody just block down, and you're fine. Just block down. Almost hit our cameraman out there in the end zone.
Thought it was going to land right up like you're playing like Top Shot or something. How about our play of the game, our Limerick Heating and Air cool play of the game? I know what it's going to be. You know why? I just saw this happen. There it is.
That's a cool way to get your first touchdown of the season.
Call today, comfortable tonight. Limerick Heating and Air, cool play of the game. Sometimes the guys in the truck, you can get a sense of where they're going, but it's hard to tell when they throw these at you. But they throw something at you, and I just saw it a second ago.
I guess the question that I still have of the night, really the question that I'm sure everybody wants to know is, Miss Ramsey, Deshaun's mom, or grandma, or who, the person that's responsible for feeding Deshaun Ramsey, like what does a trip to the grocery store look like?
Time consuming?
I mean, with that type of size, definitely he can play at the next level. And he seems to be very mobile for his size.
He's been pushing guys around.
Yeah. So when you're that, and I assure you no one is pushing him around. So, but that's just really what inquiring minds want to know is what does, maybe the next time we have Wes Ashley, maybe we'll spend a day with the Ramseys and we'll just follow them, whoever does the grocery shopping, and just kind of, that can be one of our features.
Well, again, he's coached by Chris Mazik, who's got him coached up well, played at Penn State. He's from Columbia. Mazik and the Wildcats will take care of business tonight, and then he can worry about 4 p.m. tomorrow. Penn State and Iowa.
Should be a good one, game of the day.
Yeah, there are some nerves there. How about our Cruise Chevrolet drive of the game? You've got a friend in the car business. It's going to be the one that opens the third quarter. Porter on the halfback pass to Zaquan Smith. Then a little bit more Porter. He says, I'm going to start the drive. I'm going to end the drive. But I'm not going to end it there.
Just dragging Swamp Foxes into the end zone. That's how you finish the drive of the game.
Cruise Chevrolet. Got a friend in the car business.
Still penalty flags. Of course, they can't see only, 2:18 left in the contest.
Ashley Ridge coming off their lone touchdown drive of the game. That one they only had to go 44 yards.
You know, Darren, we talked about Wes Ashley, 2-3 on the season coming in, 1-0 in region play, but 4 of their first 5 games were on the road. The good thing for them, 3 out of the last 4 are here at Wes Ashley. And the one lone road game is at Fort Dorchester. So this Wes Ashley team, they're sitting in a good position now. They'll be 500 on the year, but more importantly, 2-0 in region play and a little momentum going next week.
West Ashley's got Somerville.
There you go. That'll be a big one. Somerville, at last check, Darren, they were leading. Let's see if I can get you an updated score. So they'll be undefeated in region play coming into next week's game as well.
That'll be a good one. Somerville's defense is the real deal. So that'll be the matchup to watch. The intended target slips and falls. It'll be 3rd down with 1:30 to go. Again, that was Derek Sally.
Okay. Headed to the 4th. Somerville, who are they playing? Somerville is playing... Whoever they're playing, they are leading 63-6. Oh, they're playing Stall. So 63-6. So Somerville, yes.
They're going to win.
They're going to win that game, and they'll be here next week.
That's a Sharpie, a Seth Davis Sharpie.
Yes, we can pencil them in.
Proctor Floyd, Ori, ouch. Antoine Chisholm It is a first down.
But he paid for that first down. It's the big hit, as you mentioned, Aaron, by Chisholm. Nice completion. Again, that footing. I can't imagine just trying to get your footing down there when you're sinking into the field and all the rain and all. It's got to be tough, but these guys are troopers. They've played through it. They're just making football plays.
A minute, 8 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Under pressure, overthrown, and a flag.
Was it roughing the passer? Because it looked like they got awfully close to him.
Well, there's one in the backfield, and then there's one in the defensive backfield as well.
Huh. These officials have gotten their money's worth tonight, for sure. They are.
And, they got to slog through that field, too. You got it.
Yep. So they declined the pass interference and accepted the roughing the passer. So 102 left there, and yeah, put 6 points on the board. Because then that message is, yes, guys, you know what? We came up short tonight, but we didn't quit. We finished strong. We put up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Those are the types of things that you can build off on for the rest of the season. Still a lot of football left to be played for Ashley Ridge in the 2021 season.
1:02 left in the fourth. After the 15-yard penalty, it's 1st and 10. Proctor Floyd got it to Ori. Made him spin around and pirouette, but he's inside the 10 for another A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down.
Was that Laguerre on coverage, or was it Khalil Robertson? I couldn't really see, but a nice pass completion again. Ori, as you mentioned, kind of got behind the secondary. Yeah, that was Robertson on the stop.
1st and goal now for the Swamp Foxes. 45 seconds to go in the game. Three receivers top of your screen. Quarterback in the middle of your screen. Down at the 1. Proctor Floyd is put down by Rivers.
Jarrell Rivers with the emphatic takedown.
No timeouts for Ashley Ridge here.
Yeah, they're in the, not even the 2-minute offense. They're in the 30-second offense.
Well, they put the ball on the ground with 15 seconds to go. And now Shane Fiddler will take a timeout. And I think he was just trying to do the right thing. Look, the game's out of hand. Maybe they can get in the end zone.
Right.
But then you take the timeout here. At least give your guys another shot at it now that you've recovered the fumble.
And you don't want to cheat your own players. Those guys work hard, as we mentioned earlier. So, if you can get them into the end zone, all for it.
Player of the game, brought to you by Reliable Equipment. It will be Jaleel Porter. Punishing in the first half. Found some big runs in the second half. Showed us he also can throw the ball in the second half. Porter had a couple of second half touchdown runs and a long pass. His longest run didn't find the end zone. He was knocked down. Your Reliable Equipment player of the game, a guy Shane Fiddler said is maybe the best running back in the state. It's Jaleel Porter.
Yep, you can always count on Reliable Jaleel Porter. He just gets it done.
And Reliable Equipment, tonight's end zone scissor lift that the extra point almost landed in. Provided by Reliable Equipment, we rent the good stuff. What's up? See if they can pay this thing off. 10 seconds left, and it's bobbled. It's caught. Coming back the other way is Legree. Legree caught it at about the 2. He's pulling away at the 20. It's a pick 6 as time expires.
Wow. Fitting, because he's been all over the field tonight. We talked about it. When you throw the ball across the hash, that's just a long way to throw it. And give credit to Laguerre. Kind of tipped it 3 or 4 times, and then pick 6. He took it to the house. And more importantly, Darren, he did not drop the football before going into the end zone.
We've taken a couple of cheap shots, but they're warranted. The Gamecocks have made some mistakes this year. No cheap shots for the Wildcats. They earned this one. Both coaches said the more physically dominant team will win this game. That was West Ashley on the defensive side to begin the game throughout the first half. They wore them down offensively in the second half and pulled away with about a 95-yard pick six to end the game and win it 41-7.
Yeah, and Mark Laguerre right now, he's looking for the oxygen. He's like, come on, the last play of the game, I gotta run 98 yards. But hey, good job by Laguerre. What a way to cap off. And again, unfortunately, that just kind of sums up Ashley Ridge's season thus far.
We'll take a break. We'll bring you back for the QFS Transportation Trophy presentation. It'll go to West Ashley. Winners, 41-7. Darren Goldwater back with Everett German and some celebrities in his world, Baby Girl and her friends. And they're all getting ready for the trophy presentation. Their high school has won tonight's QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals 41-7. For the QFS Transportation Trophy presentation, we give you Trooper Bob.
Great Porter player of the game right there. Reliable transport. Good job. Reliable. All right. Reliable equipment. Coach, you finished the game off with a pick. Take it to the house, over 90 yards. Tell us a little about it.
Well, great play by Mark Legree. I mean, we tell our kids no matter where we are in the game, we're going to play the whole 48 minutes. And he had that opportunity, and he took advantage of it. A great play by him and by the whole team. You know, Shane Fiddler and his staff always do a great job. So to beat a team of that caliber is a good day for us.
Coach, also, your offense did outstanding. Also put all those points on the board. Your defense held them just 7 points. Right. Any big changes for the next game?
I don't think so. I mean, we're trying to, do what we do and just trying to be more sound and take care of ourselves more so than the opponents. And, hats off to our defense and Coach Price, defense coordinator, the whole defensive staff did a great job tonight.
You guys, I got a trophy for you. Congratulations on the win.
QFS Transportation, empowering our drivers and trucking agents to succeed, our number one priority. Be sure to join us next week when QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevy, drives its way over to Hanahan as Oceanside makes the trip over to visit the Hawks. Our final here, 41-7 West Ashley tops Ashley Ridge. Catch the highlights of this and everything around the Lowcountry on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals. ABC News 4 at 11 with Scott Eisberg and Natalie Spalla. For Nick Case, Jason Bennett,
Everett German, and our entire crew. I'm Darren Goldwater. We say so long, and thanks to all our sponsors for making QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet, possible every Friday night.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. No offense, I don't want to be on TV no more. This was a quick game for TV standards. Well, you know what? Why didn't y'all go to any more TV timeouts? I don't know. I think it's just all we had. We took like one a quarter, basically. Well, I mean, but normally that TV person out there is out there all the time. Red hat. Well, I'm glad he wasn't. Yeah. Glad we got through this. Y'all have a great night. You too, all right, man. You too. Drive safe. All right, y'all too. I am not doing no homework tonight. I'm going to go to practice tomorrow. Practice at 10. I didn't feel like it. Not tonight. We got to get ready to watch Tennessee run up and down the field. You got the Harold lately? You know he messed his knee up. No, I didn't know that. Yeah, earlier just this week. I was talking to him last week because we were talking about Jazz because she's struggling at the plate a little bit. What the hell is that? Lane West Ashley. See it. It's like I saw it. Yeah, I saw it do all mine back in my. I was doing a presentation or something like the turn. I guess our guys are still up there.